Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points for the Kings, and new King Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. The Kings play again on Sunday at home against the Golden State Warriors. In baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers in 3 games with a 4-2 victory last night. The Houston Astros won Game 4 against the Minnesota Twins, which means the Astros advance to play the Texas Rangers in their 7th consecutive American League Championship Series. A reminder that all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Let's get started with Chris Watkins and Alan Stiles right here on Sactown Sports.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yes, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins. Watkins and Stiles. Doesn't matter the order as long as you're listening. Thank you for listening. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we got you talking Sacramento Kings. Preseason game number 2 versus the Lakers. As Kyle so eloquently put, they lose to the Los Angeles Lakers 109-101. We're getting into that. We got some Niners talk for you. Brock Purdy, has he convinced you that he is the guy? Is there anything more he has to do? Mike Sando from The Athletic has some things to say about that. And we got a little bit of baseball, some baseball drama. Bryce Harper versus the Atlanta Braves. Let's just say Bryce Harper won that round. Chris, how are you doing, my guy?
Pretty good. Yeah, yesterday was a pretty eventful day. Had all the baseball games going on, and a lot of Giants fans in the area are celebrating. Not because obviously their team, right. But the second best day of the season is the day that the Dodgers get eliminated. So a lot of smiles around town here, and and then we had the Kings game last night where those smiles kind of quickly turned into frowns, but. Still some good action, and excited to be here on a Wednesday.
Well, so
is today Thursday? Today's Thursday. Oh my gosh.
Today's Thursday, and I'm a big Thursday guy. I was telling Kyle when we were walking into the building. When I rank my days, right? I don't know if a lot of people do this.
I don't think so. But
as much as I like tacos, Tuesday's got to be the worst day for me. There's no hope, right? Monday, you're still coming off the high of the weekend. Yeah. Tuesday, you're not halfway through the week. Right. You have Wednesday where now you're at hump day. Now you're halfway through the week. Sure. Thursday's Friday Eve. Then you have Friday. Tuesday is tough, man. It's tough sledding for me on a Tuesday. Yeah. But we are here on a Thursday. And, I'm happy as a Giants fan that the Dodgers lost. It was embarrassing for the Dodgers to get swept like that. I don't know what they're missing. Obviously, pitching for them just went awry. But ultimately, they didn't get it done. And as much as the Giants want to be happy about the Dodgers. Who did the Dodgers lose to again? The Diamondbacks. Who are also in the NL West. And I look at the Diamondbacks, and when the Giants were rolling before their implosion, I thought, wow, the Giants have a nice core, a nice young core, and the Diamondbacks have a nice young core. They're kind of on the same level. The Diamondbacks went ahead and showed me that Meek Mill, there are levels to this, and the Diamondbacks are on another level because they're rolling. And as much as people want to talk about the Phillies and how hot they are, Bryce Harper, and it's rocking out there in Philadelphia, the Diamondbacks are quietly just cooking right now. Yeah. And I wouldn't want to play them if I were a team. And I know the Texas Rangers is on the other side. Shout out Bruce Bochy and how hot they are. But those are two teams that are on a collision course. And you look at the star power that the Rangers have with Seager and Simeon, Bay Boy. Shout out Oakland with Marcus Semien. You look at the Diamondbacks and you got Corbin Carroll, who's somehow technically a rookie, right? He played over 100 games. He's technically a rookie, 100 at bats, whatever it was. You got guys on that team that you didn't really expect these things from. So baseball, and here's the thing for people like you, who were trying to get into baseball. Yes, sir. It's probably not good that the Diamondbacks won. Let's be honest.
In terms of it's always nice to have that big bat out there that everybody can root against and try and, poke and prod at. And, you get that for, the series that they just had. But in the long run, you want to have still a big name out there. And, you still got the Astros on the other side.
You do.
You still got a big bat out there, if you will. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a little bit of the luster out of it. But, I'll gladly sacrifice that for the situation we're in now. I think that it's fun to have a team like the Diamondbacks in this kind of situation. You point out how young they are. I think that's an exciting situation to be in. You could maybe argue, sorry, Kyle, that's the spot that the Padres ideally would have wanted to be in, this young, exciting team that takes over the NL West and makes a statement like that. But I still think that this playoff series specifically, or this set of games, has really done a really good job of being entertaining, though. These Dodger games have been blowouts. That's been my entertainment from this series. But you talk about the Bryce Harper game yesterday. I mean, I think that's what that's going to be known as for the foreseeable future. That series has been great, and Texas has done a great job, and even the Astros. I mean, Yordan Alvarez, and just watching that team be ridiculous. Now, again, we've established I'm a baseball casual. Why did nobody tell me that the Astros have now been to 7 consecutive ALCSs?
They're always there.
That's insane.
They're always there.
That's ridiculous.
It's the Houston Invitational.
That's
at this
in
point.
A sport where just randomness happens all the time.
They're a constant. 7 straight years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
they have taken the Yankees' birthright to championships away from them.
Yeah.
No, that's really what it is. Like, the Astros at this point are the Yankees of the I mean, not without necessarily the exact replication, but for all intents and purposes, they are this generation's Yankees. And maybe I would say, the scandal had a lot to do with taking away some of the luster, but it just doesn't feel like enough people are having this conversation about how ridiculously dominant this run has been.
And I think Altuve is also the only player who's been from 2017 to now. I mean, Verlander was gone for 4 months.
Took a little break. Well, and the other thing is this, bringing it back to the Giants, you could have in you already have the Astros, right?
Right.
Well, and so now we're looking at Dusty Baker.
Right.
Who did he used to manage? The Giants.
The Giants, yeah.
Bruce Bochy. Who did he used to manage? The Giants.
The Giants.
This is kind of a mini PR nightmare for the Giants. I mean, Dusty's different. That was decades ago. But Bruce Bochy, and look, a lot of people want to do the swap shop and just say, well, Farhan, they forced out Bruce Bochy.
Right.
2017 to 2019, the Giants were not good. That was not a good baseball team. You bring in Farhan, and I don't think that they necessarily forced Bruce Bochy out. I think they brought in a guy in Farhan that Bruce Bochy wasn't going to vibe with. It wasn't going to work. Farhan wants you to platoon. He wants to go to Farhan wants to shop at, wherever. And I'll go to TJ Maxx when I need to. But sometimes I don't feel like going to TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to, go get my nice stuff. I'll go to Macy's and I won't go to the basement of Macy's. I won't look at the sale things, right? Farhan only wants to look at sales.
Yeah, he's going to Marshall's
the whole time, which is fine sometimes, not all the time. So we're doing this thing now. A lot of Giants fans are where it's, well, they forced out Bruce Bochy. Look, man, Bruce Bochy needed a break. Bruce Bochy had some health issues he was dealing with, and that roster was not good. It just wasn't. So it's easy to do this revisionist history and to just swap people in because that's what we like to do in talking about sports, but it's just not that simple. And ultimately, last time I checked, the Rangers, this doesn't say everything, but the Rangers have the 4th highest payroll in Major League Baseball.
Right.
That matters.
Yes, it does.
They have stars, okay? They got Scherzer. They got Seager. They got Simeon. They got dudes, okay? We talked last time when I was on last week, we talked about the Giants roster being about Olive Garden, Chili's, Chevy's type of deal. I mean, Texas Rangers, I guess it depends on where you eat. It's Texas Rangers. Where did I eat? Morton Steakhouse. So you can't compare the two. So shout out to Dusty. Shout out to Bruce Bochy as the Giants continue to look for their manager.
Can we also shout out the sprinkling of A's just all around this postseason as well?
All around.
Me and Zachariah were talking yesterday. There's a full lineup. There's 4 starters. You got multiple catchers that you can throw in there with Hyman Murphy, like Olsen, Chapman. You got Simeon. You've got even Christian Pache's out there making plays nowadays. It's like, I mean, yeah, there's Bay DNA all over.
all over.
Max Muncy, right?
So look, at least this is literally tiny victories. Just take what you can get, Giants and A's fans. At least you're represented in some way because your team
in the worst way.
The worst ways because your teams did not represent. All right, let's get to some Kings. We are getting close to break, so there you go. Sometimes you just got to talk baseball.
It's fine.
Sometimes you got to talk baseball. So we'll be right back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins and Stiles with some Kings basketball talk.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Watkins and Stiles and Watkins got you until 2 p.m. And now we're going to talk some Kings. Thank you, Chris, for that baseball segment. I feel like, we were talking and we were ranking our sports as we continue to get to know each other. You had baseball at the bottom, but I think secretly you're starting to like baseball a little bit. I think the rules changes helped a little bit.
It doesn't hurt. It definitely doesn't hurt. And I've always had, I think I've told you this last time, but I have an appreciation for the history of baseball. And I love the fact that, the numbers are so integrated into the storytelling of baseball, because it is a true sport where the numbers kind of actually do tell a good portion of the story, and it's easier to follow for me in that sense. But it's just the grind, the regular season grind especially is just really tough. And I haven't really, it's fun to have these baseball games lined back to back to back, but it does get a little bit exhausting. I feel like it feels like they can do the scheduling of these games a little bit better.
Well, after
spread them out.
And after a long season, and a lot of people are saying now, and even our own Carmichael Dave had some things to say about he didn't mind that the Dodgers lost, but ultimately why baseball have this long season, and then because of the long season, you have a quick 3-game series for the wild card, and then you have a quick 5-game series in the NLDS, where basically basically what people are saying is that you don't know who the best team is in a 5-game series. Right. Everybody's always said in a 7-game series, you really find out who the best team is.
Yeah, for sure.
But in a 5-game series, that might not be the case, but nobody cares if you're in the Bay or in Sacramento because the Dodgers lost. Right. So I get all that, and I have been big on getting rid of that COVID year when it was 100 games or something like that, or even less than that. That was my favorite year because every game mattered. Why do we watch football even when it's bad football? Right. Because every game matters. College football has even figured out how to do that. So baseball, you can sleepwalk through so much of the season, and then all of a sudden your favorite team, who's been the best team in the league, another team comes up and gets hot, right? And again, maybe baseball does look into it, because I'm happy that the Dodgers lost, but is Major League Baseball happy
about it? Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not if it's going to be Diamondbacks against I mean, yeah, Diamondbacks, Rangers in the World Series. I don't know if that does it for the national audience.
That's not going to do it for the national audience at all. I mean, and Corbin Carroll's a guy who is the catalyst for that team and on the come up. We were talking Evan Longoria. I mean, God bless you. Evan Longoria, actually, the first time he was in the CS, because it was with the Rays, he was, I believe, 22. Mm-hmm. He's now 37. So he waited 15 years to get back. And, I didn't. Once he left the Giants, I thought
it was done when he was on the Giants.
Right. I thought he was washed on the Giants. Yeah. Then he proceeds to play multiple years after the Giants. And the Diamondbacks seem to love to take the Giants players that we think they got Bumgarner. They love to take those guys. So, again, another Giant hanging around.
Exactly.
Represent. Yeah. That's my guy. I actually have a random. I have a picture. I ran into Evan Longoria at a restaurant bar deal. And we were in line for the bathroom. So I said, hey, man, this is how, a lot of people don't understand where people are in life. You see athletes, you think they're all cool.
Yes,
you think they're all young, right? Yeah. So I run into Evan Longoria and I say, hey, man, good to meet you. Would love to take a picture. He goes, hey, man, of course, right? Take the picture. And I go, so are you in a house with other players? Do you guys hang out? He goes, no, I live at home with my family.
Cool. Great.
I said, oh, that's right. You're 34.
You're
my bad.
Exactly.
My bad. In my mind, he's still this young dude, but he is a great family man. So shout out to Evan Longoria. And I still have that picture. So shout out to him for being a nice guy. All right. Kings time. 109 to 101. Mm-hmm. Lakers over the Kings. And honestly, it was a pretty straightforward game. Mm. The Kings came out. They couldn't stop anybody. D'Angelo Russell was cooking early.
Cooking.
Right?
Cooking.
And when he gets going, that's not a good sign. Yeah. And there was just a couple plays here where the Kings either turned it over or just missed shots. Yeah. And the Lakers did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really I hate to come on here and have some basement level analysis, but really it was, especially in that first quarter, it was the Lakers were just, or in that first half, Lakers just made shots. The Kings didn't. I mean, to start the game, the Kings were hitting some things, but as that game progressed, I mean, it was, you mentioned D'Angelo Russell was knocking down shots, and Gabe Vincent looked incredible last night. Rui Hachimura's hitting shots. And, in general, when those guys are just on any given night, this isn't even, in a preseason or, obviously LeBron and AD didn't get going, but any night that you have D'Lo and Rui and, maybe even Austin Reeves in a different situation, that's what makes the Lakers really tough to beat. And that's what that really carried them the second half of the year was, getting these guys hot. And it's not an excuse, but that's, it's just going to be really tough to beat the Lakers when they're hitting those shots. And I'm not taking anything out of preseason basketball. I'm not in any, rush to say that this Kings season is going to be a waste, but I can understand why some Kings fans out there would be pretty upset at the defensive effort that they've had over these past two games, because you've just seen guys get, I mean, the looks, they're having really good point of attack defense. They're good, rushing the ball handler, but I mean, they just get blown by so often, and we're still seeing not a lot of help at the rim. And it's leading to bad defense. And they're a turnstile. And in these first two games, teams have just been able to put points up on them, and their offense on the other side, the Kings offenses look shaky to say the least.
No, and just because we have to, because I know Chris clearly is making his stance clear on preseason basketball, but here's some fake stats for you. Vezenkov, 7 points in 22 minutes. Harrison Barnes, 15 points. De'Aaron Fox, 18 points. Harrison Barnes played 21 minutes. De'Aaron Fox played 24 minutes. Sabonis, 10 points in 24 minutes.
16 boards.
Duarte, 10 points.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked really good after he really struggled in his first preseason game. He was looking he couldn't hit anything. I think he was 2 for 9 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. And then, last night he really he showed what he can bring to this team. He's a really good shooter. Again, some really decent moments of point of attack defense. I think that's going to be really big for him if he wants to get minutes this year. Chris Duarte is going to have to be big on the defensive end of the floor because there's not many guys on this team that bring any sort of defensive intensity or prowess. And I see something in Duarte that I think could be promising in that end. But yeah, it was good to see him hit shots. On the opposite end, the first thing you told me about this game, your first opinion you gave me on this game was Davion Mitchell. I mean, it was disappointing because in that first preseason game, he knocked down a couple threes, looked good. I mean, realistically, that's his shooting's the only thing that I'm looking for from Davion this preseason because we know what he's going to bring defensively. Mm-hmm. The thing that unlocks his game is going to be if he can hit shots and stay on the floor on offense. And last night, 1 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. It never looked like he really was in a rhythm last night.
No, he was. It looked like he was pressing a little bit. He was not taking shots when he should. Right towards the end, I believe the first half there was a shot on the baseline he could have taken, and he pump fakes. Ends up almost throwing the ball away. So he just didn't look sure about what he wanted to do. I mean, we know he's got that lateral quickness. That's why he's such a good defender. But he was losing the ball on offense. Just seemed a bit unsure of himself. And that's the thing. That's the difference. And I don't know. I came away from this game because here's where we differ. I do think that these games matter a little bit, right? I think that there are things that you can take away because they're getting, I mean, not a ton of minutes, but the starters are getting
20 minutes.
They're getting decent minutes here. And I'm looking over at the Lakers and I see, okay, you got LeBron. He's on the bench. You know he's on the bench. Okay, then you see AD. All right. Well, meanwhile, the Lakers are winning this game, right? You see AD. Okay, I remember them too. Then you see Austin Reeves. Oh, yeah, that's right. Austin Reeves. Then you see Cam Reddish. Oh, they got Cam Reddish. Then you see Vanderbilt. Oh, they got Vanderbilt. So this list just keeps getting longer and longer. And look, I don't know if this is as much about the Kings as it is the Lakers. And I'm on record saying that I thought people were a little bit too nice to the Lakers in terms of what they're building. But I'm looking around thinking they might really have some action. And then it just goes back to the conversation of the West in general and how I'm looking at the Kings, Chris, and my question is Keegan Murray. We know how important he is, right? And Mike Brown even said, hey, we don't want there will be a combination of Sabonis and Fox and Keegan. 2 of those 3 got to be on the floor because I'm looking around and I know Malik Monk had a bit of an off game as well, but I'm looking around at the options. And the question is, are the Kings as deep as we actually think they are? They got solid players, but are they as deep as we believe they are?
Yeah, I think they're deep at every spot except for the forward, really. Yeah. And I would personally argue that I think forward is the most important or to me, it's the most vital position for success in this league. Yeah. Like, I think if you look at all the good teams in the NBA, they have some really, really good forward position players, specifically more than likely a small forward, whether it be, Kawhi and PG or LeBron. And, you got, Kevin Durant, you got Giannis, who's more of a 4, but, there's tons of teams around the league that have really good forwards. And to me, the Kings really just that's where they lack is just the overall depth at that position still. They don't have a lot of 6'8", 6'7", 6'9" guys with long wingspans. It really is pretty much just Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray that they're going to be relying on from that position in terms of the 3. Like Trey Lyles is more of a 4. Sasha's way more of a 4, even though they tried to put him at 3 these past 2 games. It has not looked good for Sasha on the defensive end, by the way.
Which we kind of figured it wouldn't, though.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be a work in progress as the year goes on.
Yeah, and he was not afraid to shoot. What I do like about preseason, at the end of the game, it just turns into street ball.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to get mine.
Running down the floor, put up a shot. Someone gets the rebound, run to the other side, put up a shot.
Yes, it is my turn to cook, and everybody get out of the way.
Get some tape out there.
Exactly. So, I mean, I look at this team, and I understand that they have guys at positions that I would call above average. I guess the problem is just specifically the West this year.
Yes.
It's not necessarily that the Kings don't have depth. The question is the depth enough because of how loaded this Western Conference is? And a little bit later in the show, we'll get into kind of the face of the NBA talk and how loaded this Western Conference is in terms of star power, because it might just be a timing thing. And any other year, you're feeling good about the Kings based on who they have. But you look around the league and you're thinking, man, this is kind of crazy. You know, this is a little bit ridiculous. So we'll get to that. We'll get to more of it when we get back. Are the Kings as deep as we think? We got that. We got face of the NBA conversation. We got Bryce Harper versus the Braves. All that and more on Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins and Stiles.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and Sactownsports.com.
There's just something about fall that makes me want to enjoy every moment. The changing leaves, the pumpkin patches, and you know what else won't last? Quick Quack's new pumpkin spice scented car wash. Text SPICE to 41284 to get 50% off any wash.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us, Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points, and new King Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. D'Angelo Russell scored 21 points for the Lakers, while Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James did not play. The Kings play again on Sunday at home against the Golden State Warriors. It's time to let you know that the NorCal Sportsman Show is this weekend, October 14th and 15th, at the grounds in Roseville. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Stiles and Watkins right here on Sactown Sports.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking you up till 2 p.m. And Kyle's not slick. He knows what he's doing. Playing the new Drizzy, so he's leading me right to it. You said you were about, and that's the thing. I know you said you were about 85% of the way through.
Yeah.
23 songs is a lot. I got stuff to do.
It's way too many songs.
Right? I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's just point blank period, way too many songs. If you're gonna have an album, it's gotta be like a tight 12. And if you can't cut it to that, like it's gotta be 15 max.
Just ignore the interludes, then it's like 19.
Yeah. Still though. So what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts so far?
I mean, I frankly, Bob Gerald brought it up in the crosstalk. I frankly agree with the main criticisms that's been coming out for Drake for this album. And it's just like, dude, like how much longer can you just make music that isn't personal? Like to you, like there's just no, like, yes, it is. Some of it is bangers, he's got a couple, of course it's Drake. He's going to have some songs that, he's trying to get played at clubs and played on the radio, 1 or 2 hits. Right. And he's got the J. Cole song, which is definitely, as I say, more of a J. Cole song than it is a Drake song. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, my biggest problem with it is it's just, there's no storytelling. Like Jay-Z's 444 is like a grown man's album. Right. Like that's written from a dude who's talking about, I cheated on my wife. I had to learn from that experience. And hey, don't invest in buying clothes and throwing money, buy art, like, old man stuff like that. And Drake is, I don't know, what is Drake push? He's in his 30s at this
35
point. Like,
or 36.
Yeah. And he's got a kid. Like how much longer is he going to be, rapping about, trying to be a thug and popping bottles in the club and all that stuff. And it's just like it's just tired. Like it's a little bit too much. Like he's trying to, I remember a couple albums ago, he's like, this isn't an album, it's a playlist. Yeah. And I feel like that's been his vibe the last couple albums, where it's just he's making a collection of songs and there's not really a universal theme. He's not, it's not like he's trying to tell us anything. He's just trying to make as many bangers as possible.
He's going to tell you that he's the best. Yes. Right. Yeah. And okay, sure. The numbers support that based on streaming numbers. And then he's going to talk about someone that he misses, but also missed out on him. Right. There's always some type of wordplay in there. And yeah, I'm looking at the 23 songs and I saw about maybe 10 to 12 that, okay, I don't mind this, right? I'd call it good. And only about 5 songs that I feel the need to go back to. I'm a big Party Next Door guy.
Sure.
So that one is a good one, but you're right, man. It's empty calories.
Yes,
it's empty
that's
calories.
A great way of putting it.
It's empty calories. Yeah. And look, he said he's taking a mental break or a music break after this. And hopefully this is the first time somebody has really challenged Drake. And it hasn't, Joe Budden has a platform. So, and he used to rap, which, to be fair, I did say this to somebody else and they said, well, what song did Joe Budden have? I said, well, Pump It Up. Yeah, and that one. So that's why Drake roasted him. Yeah. But I think, and everybody was saying, oh my gosh, Drake destroyed Joe Budden. But I think as much as Drake put into that response, that told me that Joe hit a nerve. That's what it told me, because it hit dog or holler. So hopefully Drake takes a break. He comes back and gives us an actual classic, because I do think so. Just real quick before we get back to Kings, I was talking to a buddy, and I've done stand-up like once or twice, right? It was once, right? And it was a great time. But I have a buddy who he said that Dave Chappelle will go to random places in New York and he will
just
tell
riff,
jokes,
right?
And figure out what works, what doesn't, which is interesting to me because if Dave Chappelle just pops up into your comedy show unannounced, you're going to laugh at everything.
Yes.
And you get to a point where comedians, because they are who they are, you laugh at stuff even if you don't think it's funny, right? Drake's music is kind of similar to that. They're going to do numbers even if it's not good.
Right.
So who is going to check Drake and say, I don't care about the numbers.
Right.
This is garbage. Yeah. Like, this is not good. So hopefully Drake figures it out. And hopefully the Kings defense figures it out because there was holes in the album and there were holes in that defense last night. I mean, from tip-off.
Yeah.
From tip-off, somebody fell asleep and D'Lo had
literally the first play of the game.
The no-look pass. Yeah. And I'll tell you one, we talked about De'Aaron Fox a lot last week when I was on, and just what is he going to be defensively, right? When you think about D'Lo, we talked about the fastest players, and De'Aaron Fox at the top of that list.
Yes.
Chris, I'm watching the game yesterday, and De'Aaron Fox is guarding D'Lo, just going up the the side of the court, and D'Lo just takes off. De'Aaron Fox just lets him go by.
Yeah.
Nobody checks him. He just gets right to the cup.
Yeah.
That can't happen.
It's infuriating. I mean, and I can't imagine what it feels like to be his coach, but yeah, I mean, he's bar none. I mean, there was just a GM survey that came out. De'Aaron Fox is the fastest player in the NBA with the ball in his hands. Point blank, period. There's not even really a debate about it. But why can't he seem to keep people in front of him? I understand it's not the exact same movement, but the principles still kind of stay the same. Speed will translate with shuffling your feet.
And that play specifically last night, it wasn't lateral. It wasn't like you got crossed up.
Yeah.
D'Lo just started sprinting and De'Aaron Fox just didn't continue to sprint.
Yeah.
It was very, very bizarre.
Yeah. That's a problem. Like that, and that's a real problem for De'Aaron just in general. Like it feels like he does that because he uses the justified excuse of, well, like, I gotta save myself for the offensive end, and specifically in the regular season, like he'll save himself for that fourth quarter where he kind of made his name known last year. But that can't be the case. Like, especially when you're the point guard of the team, when you need to be stopping Steph Curry some games, when you might need to be matched up against John Morant. Like, D'Angelo Russell is about as like warm up of a player as you can get in terms of, like, if you're trying to get just a good look at getting some good run. D'Angelo Russell is not a top tier guy that you're going to have to really be worrying about in the regular season. Like, if you can't, the bigger point is if you can't stay in front of D'Angelo Russell, what does that tell you about about your hopes of stopping, again, Jamal Murray's of the world, the John Morant's, the all the point guards out there? Like, it's really, really concerning because De'Aaron's the leader of this team, and he knows it, and everybody knows it, and he's got to, like, if this team is going to be, again, we're not talking great defensively. We're talking middle of the road. Be 15th in 30 of a 30-team league in defense, please. That's going to take him taking some initiative as well, because I'm sorry, Domantas Sabonis isn't going to be a defensive anchor. He's just not. He can try his ass off, but he's not ever going to be somebody that's like, we have Domas back there, you're good on the perimeter. No. You need to set the tone at the point of attack, and De'Aaron's it's just got to click for him. And again, I'm not going to make I'm not going to say it's a big problem yet for him because, the regular season hasn't kicked off yet, but it's not a great sign. And, he can have pockets of locking these guys down, but we're not seeing any of it.
No. And look, preseason, sure, but they're all things that we want to see, right, from each player, and things that you have tried to improve on, right? Yeah. Throughout the season. We talked about Davion Mitchell. We want to see you shoot. We talk about different guys when it comes to De'Aaron Fox. So you're working on those things during preseason. Because if you ain't working on it, why are you out there?
Yes.
Right? Because we don't want you to get injured, right? So Davion, we want to see you shoot. De'Aaron Fox, we want to see you compete defensively, and I didn't see. And it's not just De'Aaron, but when you are the leader, we're going to go with you. You are the head of the snake. You are the straw that stirs the drink. And it was a little disheartening just from an effort standpoint, just all around. Some of the breakdowns, that's more scheme involved. But when you're just getting beat off the dribble and nobody is coming up to you, that's a little tough. All right, before we get to a break, we do have a call. And again, if you want to be a part of the conversation, 916-339-1140. TC wants to talk about the Drizzy album. What's up, TC? You're on Stiles and Watkins.
Stiles and Watkins, what's up, man?
What is up, TC? How you doing?
Hey, man, just tapping in. Look, man, I mess with Drake tough, man, but hey, I haven't really been on Drake like that since the Scorpion. It may sound crazy, but it's not like this new album, Certified Love, all that. It's not classic like Take Care. Nothing was the same. You can even go back to Thank Me Now Later, in the beginning. He needs to go back to the old, the Take Care old Drake. This new down south Drake, Southern Drake, is garbage.
Yes. Yeah. No, thanks for the call, TC. I would have to agree with that. Look, you gotta hold people accountable. Yeah. We're holding Drake accountable. We're holding the Kings defense accountable.
De'Aaron, we're holding you accountable.
We are holding you accountable. All right. So I think that's what it is right now. Sabonis, you got to stay out of foul trouble.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
and that's
huge.
A big
that's
one.
Huge.
What I see in this team, and we're up against it, what I see in this team is a team that struggles because you either give them too much space. Because Ruri, and by the way, Ruri, you talk about wanting to pull. That dude was pulling every other shot. He does not care. So you talk about you give him too much space, and now you're giving an NBA player, an elite shooter, too much space. You get up in their grill, and they blow right by you. That is not a recipe for success. Right. With the gumbo that's going to be made later, okay, that is not the type of gumbo that you want to be making if you are the Kings and you want to be at least what you were last season as a 3 seed. So
Alan, please don't try and tell me that they're going to be worse defensively this year because I can't handle it. I can't. I thought 24th was about as bad as it gets, but I guess there's 6 more spots to fall.
I'm not going to say they're going to be worse, but I'm going to say there are teams that are better offensively that they are going to have to face. So they're going to have to dig deep, right? And Mike Brown, he came over from the Warriors. I know we've talked about this over and over again as the defensive guy. So at some point, you got to start to look at Mike, and we love Mike Brown, and we love what he's done. And there's this isn't a negative conversation, but we know what they're going to do offensively. Mm-hmm. There has to be a balance. There has to be a ratio. Right. If you are top 7 offensively, hopefully top 5 offensively, but you're in the basement, we saw where that got you last season. Got you to the playoffs, but it didn't get you to the promised land. Yeah. If you want to go to the promised land, you got to find a way to at least get to about 17.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I know we got to hit break here, but to your point, this is almost, it happens more so in the NFL, and I'm not need to caveat here. I'm not calling for Mike Brown's job at all. No. But at what point is it it's great that the Kings offense is fantastic, but Mike Brown, you're a defensive coach, and defense is where this team really, 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 really is lacking. Mm-hmm. At what point is it okay, the offense is awesome, we'll definitely take it, but we need to show some improvement on the thing that you're supposed to come in here and really fix.
Again, and before we hit break, to take it back to Drake one more time, we like the bangers, but we need something with substance, and that defense is the substance that the Kings are currently missing. Man. Exactly. Yeah. That's how you get the Grammys, and that's how you get the chip. All right, we got to get to a break. When we get back, somebody didn't play for the Kings last night. His name is Keegan Murray. How important is he to this season? All that and more next on Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling is proud to announce their partnership with Susan G. Komen to raise money and awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the entire month of October, Good Guys is committed to donating $10 of every $69 seasonal tune-up performed and $250 for every heating and air system replaced to Susan G. Komen. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now to schedule your tune-up and help save lives. 530-GOOD-AIR or online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
At Harbor Freight, we think you shouldn't have to break the bank to get great tools. Because we know that for some of you, tools are part of the job. And for others, they're just the beginning of making, fixing, restoring, and building. That's why we make high-quality tools that are priced affordably. Because we love being the start of all your working, making, fixing, restoring, and building. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Well, the Silver and Black are back at it this weekend, looking for 2 in a row as they face New England. Josh McDaniels, coach of the Silver and Black, spent 19 years with Bill Belichick in New England. He is 2-0 lifetime versus his former mentor. Other connections, Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Myers both started their careers in New England. Game time is Sunday at 1 from Las Vegas. That is your Silver and Black Report. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. What's happening for Ram Power Days?
The biggest sale of the year with up to $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew Cabs. Or save up to $6,000 off MSRP and get thousands more with 0% financing for 72 months.
Pretty much all your Rams are on sale and 0% financing.
Hoblet is always looking out for you, which is why we have up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 2500 Crew Cabs too. And with over 500 Rams available, we're sure to have your perfect truck at California's #1 Ram truck dealer.
These deals can't last long. See our whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. 12,000 total net savings after 6,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 loyalty bonus cash for current owners of Stellantis brand vehicle and $1,000 case construction cash. Must have purchased eligible case equipment from qualifying dealer. Or take 0% financing for 72 months plus 6,000 dealer discounts. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $1,389 per $1,000 borrowed. 8,000 total net savings after 3,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discounts. Rebates may include $1,000 case construction and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of eligible first responder association. Tentative each offer. See dealer for details.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. as we break down the second fake game, the second preseason game, as the Kings lose to the Lakers 109-101. But it's not about the score. It's not about the fact that these guys didn't play their real minutes. It's not even about the fact that LeBron, AD, Austin Reeves, Cam Reddish, Vanderbilt didn't play, right? It's not about that. It's about the things that the Kings needed to improve on. And as of right now, it doesn't seem like they have improved on them in a Western Conference that has only gotten better.
Yeah.
That is the
really
issue.
Concerning. Yeah.
That is the issue.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like, and I can't tell. I mean, I can't tell if this is just general, I don't want to call it sleepwalking because that seems disrespectful, but it's just like, I can't tell if the Kings are using these preseason games as an opportunity to just kind of slowly integrate new things. You know, they don't want to show it all in the preseason because to me, that's the one thing that I've really noticed is, and maybe it's just, you know, the season being a couple months removed. I just remember the regular season Kings offense looking a lot more structured, looking a lot, they're still doing dribble handoffs a good amount, but it seemed like a lot more like that was their base offense. That was just the default. We're going to get into our dribble handoffs and then we'll work off of that. And maybe they're switching some things up. Maybe they're not going to be as reliant on that, as the Warriors did a really good job of kind of taking that completely away and exposing why it might not work. So maybe this is just a shift of that, but it just doesn't, to me, feel like the Kings are showing their hand. I think a lot of this is getting some good run in, getting guys conditioned.
Okay.
Getting a feel for each other because there is still a good amount of new guys in the rotation. And I mean, but this is all also speaking offensively. It's not, there's really no excuse for the defense. I don't really have much positive or much spin to give to the defense. The defense is not inexcusable, but it's definitely not something that the Kings should look to continue. That should definitely change. But on the offensive end, it just, to me, it doesn't feel like we're getting what we're going to be seeing in the regular season. And that's mainly why I'm just not more from a results, like the 101, 109 of this. I just have a really tough time panicking too much about, you know, the Kings not winning these preseason games and not looking great.
No. And it's just more about the things that you've been looking to see. So we talked about who the Lakers were missing. Obviously, the Lakers were missing basically all of their big boys, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But the Kings were missing Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I took away from this game, along with the defense, how important Keegan Murray is going to be to this roster. Because the combinations of Sabonis and Fox and Keegan Murray, and as a second-year guy, I mean, you better hope if you're a Kings fan that there's no sophomore slump.
Yeah.
They can't afford, they cannot afford to have that. They need every bit of what this second-year guy is going to have to offer.
Yeah, that's great.
When I look at this team, and look, obviously guys like Vezenkov, they're still getting in the mix, and they're going to be able to help. And Harrison Barnes, looks
solid.
Maybe talking some trash about Harrison Barnes. Maybe he was listening to Sactown Sports,
Dude,
right?
Every single year I have the same exact conversation where I'm like, hey, we forget Harrison Barnes is still like a younger guy. He's 30 years old.
Right.
Right. There's still room for him to grow in his career and still develop. And I feel like every offseason I have to remind myself of that and say, yeah, like that's the thing that I never factor in is, could Harrison Barnes maybe be a better player now than he has been in the past? Again, just another year older, another year more veteran. He played 82 games last year. Like his body is in immaculate shape. Like, can this guy maybe now not being, I mean, because that's been my biggest problem with Harrison from a team building perspective is he's getting paid like the third best player on the team, or even there was a good portion of his Kings tenure so far where he's been the highest paid Kings player on the team, and he just wasn't elevating his game to that level. But now that he's signed a new contract, now that it seems like the pecking order has changed a little bit, you mentioned Keegan is really a bigger part of the core now. Right. They bring in Sasha, they have Herter, they have Malik Monk, they have so many other guys that can provide things for them. Does that lack of or dip in role or importance of his role, does that elevate his game? Like, is he a lot better? Do you notice Harrison Barnes a lot more that he's the fifth or sixth option as opposed to getting upset because he wasn't producing as the third option, if that makes sense?
You know, it's crazy because the Warriors got Kevin Durant and essentially replaced Harrison Barnes because Harrison Barnes could not hit the backside of a barn.
Yes, he lost them
during
that final series. He just did. Like, I'm sorry. It's really that cut and dry.
But all those years later, after Kevin Durant leaves, who do they get? Andrew Wiggins.
Right.
And I'm looking at Andrew Wiggins and I'm looking at Harrison Barnes, and I see a lot of similarities. Yeah, I do see it a
pointing
bit.
at each other for
now,
sure. It's just different versions of it.
Andrew Wiggins had that back in 2022. He had that season where he just balled out.
Yeah, that final series was great too.
Last year, he dealt with some issues and, wasn't able to be out, injuries, personal things like that. We don't know what you're going to get from Andrew Wiggins. But to that point, at the time, Andrew Wiggins was the third, maybe even fourth option. And you're thinking, wow, this guy can ball in that space. He doesn't have to be the catalyst. Maybe you see a similar jump with Harrison Barnes where it's, hey, he might not be the best third option, and we might be slightly overpaying him, but he's a darn good fourth option, and that's where he's thriving, where now all of a sudden there is less people thinking about him, there is less attention on him, so he's able to really kind of flourish. Yeah. That's a pretty good call.
Yeah.
And that might be what the Kings need when I'm looking around thinking, okay, because you could have two guys off a night, right? I don't think Sabonis, especially the way he plays, I don't think Sabonis, Fox, and Keegan, I don't think all three of them will ever be off, but I can see one of them being off.
Yeah.
Who is going to be that guy besides Malik Monk that's going to be able to kind of pick up the pieces? And I think you're right. It could be Harrison Barnes. Hey, we got to cut that, Kyle, because when Harrison Barnes is an all-star, we're going to say Chris Watkins called it. All right, got to get to a break. Sactown Sports. When we get back, more talk about the Kings in general and the importance of Keegan Murray. All that and more. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes, a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us, Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple, to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on Stimpmeter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. Or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points for the Kings, and new King Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. The Kings play again Sunday at home against the Golden State Warriors. In baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks swept the Los Angeles Dodgers with a 4-2 victory last night. The Houston Astros won Game 4 against Minnesota, which means the Astros advanced to play in the Texas Rangers in their 7th consecutive American League Championship Series. And in football, the Denver Broncos play Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City tonight. Denver has lost 15 straight games against Kansas City. Coverage of Thursday Night Football begins at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Time to remind you that the NorCal Sportsman's Show is this weekend, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Chris and company here with Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, till 2 p.m. Talking all things Kings. A little later, we'll get into some Niners. And don't worry, Giants fans, we're going to roast the Dodgers even a little bit more because it's all we have. Yeah. It's all we have right now. Wanted to hop on the YouTube chat, and thanks for everybody for the good conversation. And if you did want to call in, just like our friend TC did, 916-339-1140 from Nobody Knows with a 5. Stop with the preseason. You judge on their first 10 regular season games. I mean, I do think that it doesn't matter whether they win or lose. Yeah. But it does matter what you're looking at. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to buy Nobody Knows. I'm not going to buy that De'Aaron Fox got cooked by D'Angelo Russell because it's preseason. Mm-hmm. And if I am going to buy that, I'm sorry, I'm going to go full-blown high school coach here. You practice how you play. So then when I see that during the regular season, I'm going to say, well, I'm not surprised that that happened, okay, because he did in the preseason. And that's how he's been practicing. And to me, there's certain guys and there's certain teams that can turn things on and off, right? If De'Aaron Fox was a and this is not a bash on De'Aaron thing. It was just something good. It's just a representation of the Kings.
We can have
defense.
the same conversation about Kevin Herter if we wanted to.
Exactly, and we probably will. We probably should. He's looking like a designated hitter out there. You're not doing anything on the defensive end. All right, you can't have too many one-way players, man.
I don't think I've ever heard that before, but I love that. Kevin Herter is a DH. Oh my God,
that's cannot have You cannot have one-way players on your roster in this day and age.
Yeah.
So
not multiple.
Not multiple. And then it becomes the pride thing that I think De'Aaron Fox does have. And look, if you're telling me that it's the game 7 of a playoff, matchup, and do you trust De'Aaron Fox to not let that happen? Yes, I do. But throughout the course of an 82-game season, you can't afford to have off nights.
Lapses, right?
Not with
this Western Conference.
You just can't do it.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
No, it can really cost you big time. Like, especially, if it's once a month or whatever, once every couple weeks, that's 4 or 5 losses that can completely change your season. Like, that takes you from a 3 seed to a play-in team or something like that. Like, it can really make the big overall difference. And I understand what you're saying, because I do think that's a great point. And that's like where my mind is at when you talk about flipping the switch. That's what I think will happen.
Right.
But to your point, there's not really any reason for me to there's no justifiable reason for me to realistically think that that's going to happen. Like,
but you're saying that offensively. Defensively, that's what it looked like with the flip switch.
Right. Yes. Right. Yes. No,
what are
it
you
did.
gonna flip to?
During the regular season, that's their defense looked exactly like this. And I'm banking on, okay, if I were to be devil's advocate, so they flipped the switch from regular season to playoffs. My hope and what I'm banking on right now by not putting too much stock into this preseason defense is, okay, they can flip a switch because they understand that it's all Mike Brown's been talking about all training camp and all preseason is defensive intensity, defensive physicality, and essentially paying more attention to the defensive end of the floor, which, is very important, obviously, for this team. I'm banking on them flipping a switch once the regular season starts.
Okay.
And when that does to nobody's or what no one knows point, like first 10 games of the season to me are going to tell whether or not the Kings are going to have that switch flipped, because I would almost guarantee in game 1 of the season, they're going to play some good defense. There's no way in game 1 with all the energy and intensity that goes into that game, they're going to play defense. I would assume in game 2, they're going to play some defense.
Right.
But game 7, game 8, and then of course, way later down game 64.
Right.
Will they have that same defensive intensity? That's what's so concerning about right here, right now, is the fact that they're showing that there is a switch that can be flipped. And as easily as it can be flipped on, that thing can turn off just as easily on any given night for any given reason. And I think ideally where this team needs to get is to a point where there is no switch. There's only that thing getting more and more intense, but the defense needs to always be there. The defense needs to be a constant if this team wants to be a perennial playoff team or a perennial, championship level team. They need to commit on it just needs to be a part of who they are, not something that they can do.
Right. And again, we're not asking to be elite.
No,
we're not asking to be a top 5 team.
Don't be the Bucks. I don't need you to lock everyone down and keep people under 105.
Just be middle of the pack. You should be able to do that. All right, 916-339-1140 is the call line. And right now we're going to go to JR, who wants to talk some preseason. What's up, JR?
This is dangerous.
You're on Sactown Sports.
Do not say danger over there, Christopher Walken. Good day to you, Sir Alan. How are you?
I'm good. What you got for us?
Well, Christopher Walken's over there. We need more cowbell. Okay? I need that. I need that voice. Oh, basically, first of all, did you see Davion's shirt that had "Turn the Jets On"?
I did, on the plane.
Oh my God, I love that boy.
Yes.
That was awesome. And then I guess the question is, with the game last night with the Kings, I'm just wondering why the Dodgers suck so bad in the playoffs.
JR, how'd you celebrate yesterday? Wait, how'd you celebrate yesterday?
Gone.
He's gone.
Oh,
he just wanted to drop Dodgers suck and then dip out.
There you go. And look,
we didn't even drop him. Did he hang up?
No, he hung up.
Oh my God!
He just said, "I don't know why the Dodgers suck," and then left.
That sometimes that's all you need.
I love JR.
Sometimes that's all you need, because it is true. It is true. You got swept by a opponent from your own division. There you go. Good stuff,
Thank you,
Gave
JR.
up 23
Appreciate it.
runs in the playoffs.
That's bad.
Oh my God. They gave up 23 runs? Is that what you
I'm going to have to go fact check myself, but yeah, it was
In
11,
3
8, and
games?
4, right?
Well, I'm making dinner last night, and I'm watching. So the baby, she's now big enough to be in the little spaceship thing, right?
Yes.
So she's in the spaceship,
Good times.
But the problem was the spaceship's a little big, so I didn't feel like lugging it over to the kitchen. So I'm doing a little bit of cooking, running over and seeing what she's doing, making sure she's okay. I'm back and forth. And the whole time I have the game on, and every time I go over to check on her, somebody's rounding the bases. I'm thinking it's a replay.
That third inning,
4
man.
home runs in 1 inning.
Nuts.
It was ridiculous. And I'm saying this, man. The Dodgers didn't just lose; they got clowned because I know they play the right way. Freddie Freeman, he doesn't really bat flip. We talked about Mookie Betts. He doesn't really bat flip.
Right.
They play the game the right way. I don't care because the Diamondbacks came up there. They beat you twice at home in LA because nobody shows up until halfway through the game. And then they come back to Arizona and they were bat flipping. They were posing. You got clowned.
Yeah. They got absolutely demolished.
And I know I'm throwing stones from a glass house here because the Giants weren't in it, but you did get clowned though.
They did. They definitely did. I mean, there's no denying that this is just a complete embarrassment. And the thing that I thought yesterday is, and this is probably going to go on a lot of deaf ears because obviously a lot of people don't follow European soccer here or English Premier League, but it reminds me, or it made me think, is this going to be like a Man City situation where? And this, I'm more thinking in the future, more towards free agency.
Right.
Man City is a team that has won the English Premier League for the past 4 or 5 years, incredibly dominant. No one's really even come close, and they're the big bad right now in English soccer. But they never win the Champions League, which is essentially the playoffs, if you will, for the world. And they continue to add and add and add and add because. Yes, they completely dominate the league they're in, but they can't get over the hump and win that big trophy. And so now Man City they had every position. They just didn't have a striker. Last summer, they bought the youngest, most exciting, most prolific striker in soccer, and now they're going to try and win that thing again. And so all of this is for me to say, is this almost bad because this is justification for them to do everything possible to go get Shohei? Like, is this almost a negative?
But it's been like this.
Yes, exactly.
It's
Shohei
been like
Ohtani.
this.
No, for sure.
Because they keep choking and keep adding. So, now Shohei says, oh, you couldn't.
Because now there's
hit the backside of
justification.
a barn and you couldn't pitch. I can do both.
Yeah.
And his price tag's going to be less because of his injury.
Right, exactly.
They got rid of MVP caliber players this offseason to go after Shohei this offseason. Like Trey Turner gone, Cody Bellinger gone. Seager left a couple years ago.
Oh, man.
They're gearing up. But Chris, to answer your question, they got outscored 19-6 in the series and had the worst batting average of any playoff team and the worst starting pitching ERA of any playoff team this year.
Well, I mean, they started Lance Lynn last night. That's not.
But
I'm sure
Kershaw had another
death taxes and Clayton Kershaw.
Any part of you that feels bad for Kershaw?
Yes. No, it's starting to get to that point where, like, I mean, it's still fun. I was going to say it's not funny anymore, but it's like, bro, like you might need some serious therapy.
This one felt bad because this might have been his last start at Dodger Stadium in the playoffs. And going out that way is tough.
He went out sad.
Well, and like, this is who he is. Like this, it's gotten to the point where, like, again, casuals, myself, and even lesser casuals than me know Clayton Kershaw, this is what he does. And like the fact that it's just a mass, like this is his version almost of like Charles Barkley not getting a ring or whatever, even like Dan Marino not getting a ring, where it's, you have this ridiculously amazing career, but it's not the thing that anybody talks about.
No, and he does have a ring with the 2020.
No, he does.
But
yes,
I mean,
but that's not gonna be the first thing or even close to the first thing that anyone mentions. It's gonna be Clayton Kershaw. Wasn't he one of the best pitchers of this era, of this generation, if not the best? But also, the very next thing you have to say is, but he had some of the most epic playoff collapses,
which sucks because he hadn't had one in years.
Yeah.
Like the year they were playing, I think 2017, he had this dominant performance against the Nationals. Everyone was like, Kershaw finally got over the hump, and
then
he had this
the
one.
Nationals.
Well, he's been hanging around too. I'm really surprised. I mean, and I don't know if this is his last year or whatever the case was, but he probably should have hung him up, and he was chasing something that. Chasing a ghost almost. And the way I see it is he's almost we talk about the spider meme here a lot, but this is almost the opposite of the spider meme because him and Madison Bumgarner are essentially the opposite people.
Yes.
Because Madison Bumgarner was nothing to write home about in the regular season, but he was that dude. He would go Super Saiyan in the playoffs.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Clayton Kershaw was essentially the opposite.
Complete opposite, yeah.
I mean, look, man, you feel bad for him, but at the end of the day, he's got his ring. He got to play in LA for a very long time. He'll be all right. All right.
Doing fine.
Is
he still dating Kate Upton? Was that him?
That's
no,
Verlander.
Verlander? Okay.
They are married. The casuals coming out. You were doing good.
Like,
you were doing good. No, I'm kidding. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, the face of the NBA. Who is it to you, and who will it be when Steph and LeBron say goodnight? All that and more. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
We're back. Sactown Sports. And it's time to talk face of the NBA and where it's going, where it is headed. Right now, Chris, I would say LeBron is still LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
And Steph is still Steph.
Unfortunately.
Okay. And you know what? I know last week I gave you a little bit of something because of the golf thing that Steph was on. I didn't love, but let's not get too crazy here, all right?
I'm just saying.
All right. It's not like we're saying Draymond Green or anybody like that. I know that's Voldemort out in these parts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
Yeah, you better watch it.
I definitely will. So once those guys are gone, okay, which is going to be within the next couple of years here, what are you thinking as far as the next face of the NBA? Who do you think it will be?
I think right now it's still kind of in a determination phase where it could definitely be Giannis. Like it felt like things were trending towards Giannis, and then last season kind of happened, and that we're a couple of years removed from them winning the finals, and so it feels like people have kind of forgotten about Giannis a little bit in terms of him being a super generational talent. My 2 candidates right now would be Luka and Giannis, just because I feel like the flash is there, more so for Luka. The numbers are there for both of those guys, and more so Giannis. Giannis definitely has the personality to be the face of the league.
Right.
Luka not so much yet. But Luka might just be by sheer dominance. He might be the face of the league. I just don't see. I think the best player is going to be Nikola Jokic, but I just don't think that he really cares about the market.
He doesn't even want to be
face.
No. And yeah, it's tough, man. I think
Anthony Edwards is also a quiet shout.
Yes,
I think there's potential because he's got the game. He could have the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Minnesota, which isn't going to do him a lot of favors in terms of team success and market, but he's got the personality to be higher than anybody. Like his potential for marketability with his personality is through the roof.
Yeah, I lean towards, I don't know. I mean, honestly, Ja Morant was on the fast track.
He was. No, he 1,000% was.
Yeah, he was on the fast track.
He got off that real quick.
He can get back. He can get back. Worse things have been. People
love a comeback story. People do love a comeback.
He's already starting it. He's talking to kids, so he can come back. He's not done yet. Giannis, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
But I also feel like how could Giannis get bigger? Right?
Yes.
Once people get to that superstardom, it happens pretty quick. Okay. So Steph, he gets the MVP. Wow, who's this babyface assassin? They win the whole thing. And Steph was a superstar.
Right.
Okay. Giannis is a superstar.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't think he's a household. I would put Kevin Durant as far as household names. I would go.
Yeah, I would say
in some comp, I would say Kevin Durant is, I don't even know if he's below Steph and LeBron. I think people just think LeBron and Steph are better.
Right.
But I would go those three guys in terms of, when I say household name, the person that doesn't watch basketball at all, when I say that name, they know who it is.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't know if Giannis is there yet.
He's not quite there yet. No, I wouldn't say so. And obviously KD has the advantage of longevity. Like he's been in the league a couple of years longer. But I think, I mean, I would definitely say that Giannis has a lot to do in terms of getting his household name up. I think for the most part, a lot of every basketball fan knows who Giannis is, but I don't know if, your grandma or, your aunt or something knows who Kevin or who Giannis Antetokounmpo is. I think that's kind of where they still kind of need to kind of work on Giannis's marketability. And funny enough, I mean, if I could mention this GM survey one more time, they ask every GM in the NBA if it's not quite a face of the league, but it's essentially, if you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be? Who do you think was, we'll say top 3?
Wow.
If you could start a franchise today, any player. So age kind of does play a factor.
Age does
in here.
matter.
I still think Steph Curry's in the top 3.
I would say Steph, but it's a little bit hard just because of age. I would say Steph. I would say Tatum.
Okay.
And
Jokic.
I would probably go Giannis.
So last year, Giannis won this. 55% of GMs voted for Giannis last year.
Wow.
This year, number 1, Nikola Jokic at 33%. Victor Wembanyama is number 2 at 23%. Giannis went from 55% to 13 this year. Luka was 4th at 10%. Anthony Edwards was 5th at 7%. Also receiving votes was Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jason Tatum. So if you ask GMs, they would say, I mean, I guess it's not, that's not really face of the league. That's more, what you feel like they can bring to your team overall. But that definitely factors into the conversation. And I was not thinking Victor Wembanyama when it comes to face of the league, but that's another guy who you could throw in there if he's, I mean, because he's just a spectacle. You have 7'4", you have, the ability to shoot. If he's leading the league in blocks as well, like there's a lot of potential there for him to be very much pushed as the face of the NBA.
Right. And that's the thing. It's the push.
You know what's an interesting side note or side conversation to this as well is, do you think the international versus American has anything to do with this conversation?
Oh, I think it has a lot to do with it. I think that's why baseball has struggled as well. Because I just think it's the honest truth.
Yeah.
If people
Americans like Americans. That's what it is. It's really that cut, dry, and simple.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kind of.
We don't need to dive into the politics of all that.
It is what it is.
It makes it a lot easier, a lot more digestible.
Now, I do think that it's not all created equal. And I think that somebody like a Victor Wembanyama, albeit I think that he is more marketable, even though he's international. He is more marketable than Jokic.
Yeah.
And it seems like he wants to be. I mean, the kid did a world tour. He's on Good Morning America. Yeah. He's on all this stuff before he even gets drafted. Yeah. So that's a lot different than Jokic, who didn't even want to go to the parade.
Right.
He had to be forced to get to the parade.
And
then he gets to the parade and he has a great time. And then as soon as the season's over, he's out.
Yep.
He's back to his home and overseas, and he doesn't really want to deal with it. So I think that it's if Wembanyama pops, I mean, I think San Antonio isn't a huge market, but the market thing is an interesting
I don't know if it matters.
I don't know if it matters.
Not in the NBA. I don't really think it matters. I feel like the league is so big and the personalities are so big, and they don't have helmets on, which is of course the big thing for football.
Right.
Like you see their face, and if they're going to be in the playoffs every year or in contention every year, I think the NBA does such a good job of marketing their guys. Even like Jokic has been a guy who's almost adversarial when it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
Even he's somebody who I think is pretty well established, again, for someone who's trying to keep media out. And Kawhi Leonard, same thing. Like it almost becomes, oh, you don't like media? Well, that's what makes you so much more interesting. It's almost its own shtick. Exactly.
Right. So either way, they will find a way, because let's think about Kevin Durant. He was a superstar while in Oklahoma City. So you don't have to leave. Damian Lillard. Yeah. And then the whole cover. When are they going to leave? But they're still a superstar while they're there. So, I think it's an interesting conversation. I think Luka is another one I was surprised wasn't higher. Yeah. I think maybe his tantrums that you don't care about might be bugging some people. We got to get to a break. When we get back, we are continuing to talk star power, but under the guise of the Western Conference. Is this the best conference in the history of the NBA?
Gosh.
We got all that and more when we come back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
O'Reilly. Get ultimate durability and extreme weather performance with Rain-X Advantage wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Purchase a pair of Rain-X Advantage wiper blades and save $10, plus get 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Bring smiles to all when shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. With kids back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Make Exergen thermometer the chosen thermometer for your home or business to check for fever, where accuracy matters. When measuring temperature at home and at work, use an Exergen thermometer to keep your family and colleagues safe. Available at Walmart and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
The NorCal Sportsman Show is coming October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Get huge year-end deals on everything outdoor. Hunting, fishing, camping, golf, and more. Plus free interactive family activities, live music, the Big O Tires Custom Car Show, and a real catch and release pond from Fisherman's Warehouse. Don't miss this first ever event, sponsored by Roseville Auto Mall. Get your tickets now at NorCalSportsmanShow.com. That's NorCalSportsmanShow.com.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes, a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us, Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple: to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a lowball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at revivemenshealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points for the Kings, and new King Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. The Kings play again on Sunday at home against the Golden State Warriors. In the NFL, the Denver Broncos play Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City tonight. Denver has lost 15 straight games against Kansas City. Their last win came in September 2015 when Peyton Manning was their quarterback. Coverage of Thursday Night Football begins at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Those are your headlines. Time to let you know that the NorCal Sportsman's Show is this weekend, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Chris and Company with Stiles and Watkins.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking it at 2 p.m. Talking face of the NBA and talking Western Conference. We've gone over the Kings and why the preseason matters to me and why it does not matter to my friend Chris Watkins. And it matters to me, Chris, because of the star power. And to be completely honest with you, to be completely transparent, the last time I said something like this, I was terribly wrong. Because it was last season for the NFL, and I said, hang with me, but before anybody played, I said the AFC West, could this be the best division in the history of football?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
I think that was a fine conversation to have.
That's what it looked like.
They just brought in Russell Wilson.
Russell
the Broncos,
Wilson. I'm thinking
Raiders had some hope. Brought in Devontae Adams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's not forget. Okay. Let's not forget that wasn't a crazy thing.
Ended up being a brutal take. Brutal.
Yes. Yeah.
So
cold takes exposed for sure.
And I'm going to do it again here.
Yeah.
Because no, I can't tell you the conferences from the 70s or the 80s, but I'm looking at this Western Conference in 2023 to 2024. And we've talked about the face of the NBA. Well, the top 3 are all in the same conference with LeBron, Steph, and KD. Then after that, you got AD, Booker,
West,
Kawhi,
West,
Luka,
West,
Ja Morant,
also West,
Paul George,
West.
All in the same conference. And that top prospect that we talked about, Jokic, and the top prospect we talked about since LeBron, in the West.
Number 2 pick also, Scoot Henderson. West.
Scoot Henderson, West. Okay, you lose Dame, but I don't think it really matters. No. I don't think it matters. Could this be the most stacked conference in the history of the NBA?
I have a hard time saying no. Because, when you look at this conference, realistically, if we were to just say, all right, Alan, what team would just you would put all your money down
just real
saying,
quick,
yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick before we get going, I forgot Kyrie and Luka. I didn't say Kyrie or Luka. It's insanity.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy,
It's
man.
nuts. It's not fair. It's not fair because what teams would you say have just no shot of making the playoffs or may even play in or being frisky in the Western Conference? Because every year there's at least 4 teams that just, in the Eastern Conference, it's, Chicago's not going to do anything. Detroit's probably not going to. Charlotte's not going to do anything. Yeah. There's tons of teams out there, even Toronto, Washington. Mm-hmm. In the West, Portland, I guess, isn't going to do anything.
Who spent a bunch of money, funny enough.
Houston feels like they want to be frisky and maybe surprise people. Yeah. I don't see it. San Antonio, they're probably not going to be
I'm not ready to live in a world where Lauri Markkanen is the best player on a playoff team. Either.
Yeah, for sure. No. I mean, and they were frisky last year, but even them, you wouldn't say they're terrible. There's teams where the Kings have been perennially under 25 wins, under 30 wins for their season. There's if we're talking teams that I'm betting under 30, there's the Portland Trailblazers, and even they could surprise people. They have 5 guys that they can throw out there. And Utah. I mean, Utah and Houston. I don't think that they really, even then, I think Houston and Utah will probably win over 30 games. I just don't think that there's no nights off. I mean, realistically, no. Even if you are playing Houston, you still got to deal with Fred VanVleet. You got to deal with Ime Udoka, who let's not forget was a very, very good coach in that season in Boston. And they have young players. They got Jalen Green. They've got Alperen Şengün. They've got real promise and hope. And if the bigger thing is, it's just, you can't sleep. There's no nights where you can take the night off or, without injury, you can't realistically say they don't really have anyone that can keep up with us. And I think that's what's so scary about this Kings team, to bring it back to the defensive conversation. A lot of the times last year, it was the Kings could hold their hats on. Yeah, a lot of these teams, they just can't keep up with us scoring wise. They just don't have the firepower. Even if they were to slow us down a little bit, we can get 120 on everybody. Now, I mean, with again, even Houston's got 4 or 5 guys who are able of putting up points. To me, it's just if the Kings don't have a defensive mindset, they're not just going to be able to score 130, 135 points on people and say, yeah, they just can't reach that total. There's so many teams that have talented players that, especially like we saw last night, if you let guys get going, you said it up top, they're still professional basketball players, and they will give you buckets if you let them get into a rhythm. It's just how it goes in this league.
Yeah, and there's so many teams that normally it's on the Eastern Conference where, teams that we just associate with being bad. Yeah. We don't just do it in basketball. We do it in football too, right? So in a pick'em league, right? Oh, it's Bills, Jags. Bills, obviously, because you just associate the Jags with being bad. You forget, no, they got Trevor Lawrence, they got Doug Peterson, they got some guys, they're working on some things. And in the Eastern Conference, you have the Magic, right? That's always a name you say. With the Magic, got Paolo Banchero. Yeah. They got some guys too. Now, the Pistons are still bad.
They're still
bad. But going to the Western Conference, who are the teams where you can say, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch this game, and it's only a matter of time until the Kings take off and just show that they're the better team? Normally, that team would be the Thunder.
Right.
They'd be in that category. They're not in that category anymore.
Furthest thing.
No. The Jazz, I don't think you would put them in that category.
Yeah.
And I don't think you still can. It is going to be a battle every single night. Yeah. And if you aren't, now the good thing is the Kings defensively, I don't think they're going to be the worst defensive team in the world. And they are going to be elite offensively. But I said the DH joke earlier, right? The Kings as a whole could be a DH.
Yes.
Okay. Because you're putting so much pressure on your offense every single night. I've seen Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is coming back at you every single play. Every single play.
Yep.
So you have guys like that. I do think that the Spurs the Kings are better than the Spurs. You're not gonna have to worry about them, but don't sleep on them either. Okay.
Right. Oh, the Spurs beat the Kings last year late in the season.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So
Julian Champagne.
There are so many teams that you cannot sleep on, and that is why the defense is so important, and that is why just showing the effort and Mike Brown. It's gonna be tough, man. And earlier we talked about at what point will you start to pay attention? As much as some people might not like the 82 games and think it's a long season, try watching baseball for 162, by the way. But as much as the 82 game season seems long, it goes quick because don't get off to a slow start. Those first 10 games. What are you saying? Okay, well, it's only 10, then 10 more. Okay, well, it's only 20. Well, now you're starting to creep. You're creeping through the season. Right. So they gotta make sure that they get off to a hot start.
Agreed.
That they are definitely put in a position to where if something, because we still got injuries to deal with, they have to take advantage of the fact that they're young. Because as we mentioned, the Lakers are a bit older, the Warriors are a bit older, the Clippers are a bit older. Even the Suns, to a lesser degree, a bit older. You got to get out early because we know that those teams are going to pull it back and dial it back because they have to, whether it's injury, whether it's just being dinged up from just attrition throughout the years. So it's much more important for the Kings. It's important for everybody to start out hot, but it's important for the Kings because teams like the Suns, who might take a while to round up into form. Teams like the Nuggets, who a little bit of a hangover from the championship. The Warriors trying to figure some things out. The Clippers are the Clippers. The Lakers got some new pieces. You are one of the teams that you haven't really changed too much, which is good. You got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I feel like in general, it's just a lot easier to be a front runner as well, especially when you're a team that isn't really experienced when it comes to the how postseason races happen. Like the Kings last year, that was the first time they've been involved in what you could consider a postseason race, and even then they weren't really in. They were in that 3 seed, but they weren't really in danger of falling down and weren't really close enough to Memphis or Denver to really move up, and so they were kind of just in a nice little comfort zone of that 3 spot. But to your point, like if they're going to be in a playoff race towards the end of the season, it would do them a lot of favors to kind of have a good head start so that they have the ability to fall back. Because I definitely think that teams like Golden State, teams like Phoenix, teams like Memphis, who's going to have to wait 25 games to get Ja back, those guys are going to take some time to get going. But something tells me that once it clicks for those teams, they're just going to soar. And the Kings really, really need to take advantage of, their youth, but also their continuity. The fact that they did, for the most part, quote unquote, run it back, and are adding only Duarte, McGee, and Vezenkov into the rotation. It seems like they need to take advantage of the fact that teams like Golden State are going to take some time and Phoenix is going to take some time. And they play the Warriors 3 times in the first 20 games or something of the season.
Right.
Try and win as many of those as you can, because not only is the Western Conference in total really, really difficult, but your division is almost impossible. And so you need to have as many wins under your belt against those opponents as you can, especially if they can happen early in the season, because you just don't know what those teams are going to look like, what kind of pushes they might make at the deadline or anything like that. I mean, we saw the Lakers completely change identity last season at the deadline. So I definitely think it's huge for the Kings to get off to a good start. And that's definitely, if you want to be concerned about the preseason, to me, that is something that's very legitimate, just how sluggish and how slow they've came out the gates here. Ideally, with, again, the amount of continuity that they have from last year, you would have thought that you'd see these guys just kind of pick it up like they never missed a day.
Yeah, and look, we're going to know here in a couple weeks what the Kings are really all about, if they're about that action. Shout out Marshawn, because it is not a game in the Western Conference this year. And it feels funny to even talk about how we called the Western Conference loaded just a couple years ago compared to now. Yeah. Now it's a complete joke. Yeah. So,
and to the previous conversation of Face of the League, it just doesn't feel like this league has been this talented before.
Right.
Like how many teams in general, like every team can point to somebody and say, oh, we have a guy.
Yes.
Like we've got a legitimate guy. Like even Charlotte Hornets are like, LaMelo Ball is somebody who's an all-star, all-NBA caliber guy. And traditionally, I mean, you can look at just the Kings rosters. That has not been the case for most of the NBA's history.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. You practice how you play, but I get it. It's preseason. I understand why there's no time to panic, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, ESPN put out a top 10 list. How many?
They did 100, but we just learned the top 10.
Yeah,
today.
We just learned the top 10, so we'll get over that. And then we're going to get to make fun of the Dodgers. I promise you, we're going to get to it. All that and more. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins. We'll be right back.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has a selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling is proud to announce their partnership with Susan G. Komen to raise money and awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the entire month of October, Good Guys is committed to donating $10 of every $69 seasonal tune-up performed and $250 for every heating and air system replaced to Susan G. Komen. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now to schedule your tune-up and help save lives. 530-GOOD-AIR or online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. So, Chris, it's Chris Watkins, Allen Stiles. Chris, why don't you give us the top 10?
Okay.
This is ESPN's top 10 of the NBA. They have 100, but we're just going to go over the top 10.
And yeah, for those who have missed it, we've been talking about it the past couple days. De'Aaron Fox was 23. Domantas Sabonis was 22. And I believe Harrison Barnes was 98 on this list. So those are the only Kings that were mentioned. Unfortunately, no Kings in the top 10 here. But let's start off with number 10, who is in the same division as the Sacramento Kings. Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers makes the list at number 10. Last season, he was ranked 20th, rose 10 spots. At number 9, they have Anthony Davis's teammate, one LeBron James, who was number 6 in last year's list. He has now entered his 21st NBA season, as crazy as that is. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, number 8. That is a massive, massive jump. He rose 40 spots from last year's list. He was at 48 last year, all the way up to 8. Of course, Shai averaged over 30 last year, made first team All-NBA, so definitely justified, but just really, really surprising to see, or just unusual, I guess, to my eyes, to see him in a top 10 of NBA players right now. Number 7 is a guy that we were just talking about as the face of the league, Kevin Durant, who was number 8 last year, so is actually technically going up still in his career, even at his advanced age. Was he 34, 35 now? Number 6 is Jason Tatum, who was number 7 last year. So Tatum's still on the rise, of course. They signed his fellow forward mate, Jaylen Brown, this offseason. Steph Curry stays at number 5. He was number 5 in last year's ranking and stays put there. Luka Doncic moves down technically to number 4. He was number 3 last year.
Good.
Number 3 on this year's list was number 4 on last year's list. Joel Embiid, fresh off of an MVP season, moving up only 1 spot to number 4. Very interesting. This one's a bit of a surprise for me. Number 2, as he was number 2 last year, Nikola Jokic doesn't move up after winning NBA Finals MVP, had a great run the entire time, really felt like he was changing narratives that entire postseason, stays at number 2. And at the number 1 spot for this, what I assume is the second consecutive year, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who, was a one, we can't forget, Milwaukee Bucks were a 1 seed last year. They did lose to an 8 seed.
Right.
After Giannis did get hurt, people do also forget that caveat that Giannis did get hurt early in that playoff series, like very seriously hurt his back. But yeah, Giannis stays at that number 1 spot. So yeah, AD at number 10, LeBron at 9. At number 8 is Shai. Number 7 is Kevin Durant. Number 6 is Jason Tatum. Number 5, Steph Curry. Number 4, Luka Doncic. Number 3, Joel Embiid. Number 2, Nikola Jokic. And number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Any quarrels? Any problems?
And I watched a good bit of Shai.
Yeah.
And I do think he's a baller.
Yes.
I'm struggling a little bit with 8.
Top 10 feels a little aggressive.
A little bit.
A little bit.
And
I love Shai. I'm right there with you. I love Shai. I think what he did last year was incredible. It was underrated. It didn't feel like many people were talking about it. OKC was great last year, but top 10 player above LeBron and AD. It feels a little bit high right now. And like, I just don't know. I think Shai is a better promise in terms of potential. I think I would have him having more potential than De'Aaron Fox right now. I mean, just as a scorer, like I don't know if De'Aaron will ever be able to get all the way up to 30 points per game, and Shai was at 31 last year. So I got to give him the nod there. But as a complete, and maybe it is the two-way element of Shai, like he's got crazy long arms. He's able to defend on the perimeter at a high level. And that's not something, as we talked about in the entire first segment, that's just not in De'Aaron's bag. But
yeah,
it just feels like that spot's just a little bit too high for him.
That's a little high for me. I really don't know what to do with Jason Tatum. To me, I really don't know.
I think
where
6 or
Jason
7
Tatum,
is fair.
Okay. Jason Tatum
as a young talent, he's still a young forward.
Chris, do you have the full list there?
I can get it very quickly.
Okay, because I was going to say, if Devin Booker isn't 11,
that is
I would be upset.
See, so that would actually, to your point, Kyle, I would be a lot happier with Devin Booker in the top 10 than Shai. How do you feel about Shai in the top 10, Kyle? Because I know you like Shai.
I'm a big nerd stats guy, and the nerd stats love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but I'm not putting him over Devin Booker.
Seems a little crazy.
I was going through the list. I'm like, okay, here's where Booker's going to be. Here's where Booker's going to be. Because, I mean,
You put in Booker over Dame?
I'm definitely putting Booker over Dame. Alan, I'm someone who's on the edge of putting Booker over KD. Like, as the number one on
I'm
that
right
team.
there with you. I'm almost there. I'm not quite there, but I am almost there.
He's the number one on that team.
Yeah. I think he is.
We sure about that?
Almost.
TBD.
Yeah, we're like right there.
Right
we're
there.
like workshopping it.
Yeah.
We're like,
Alright.
it's right there.
Let's see here. I got the 100 through 50, but I can't get.
But yeah, no, the Booker not being there was shocking. But I have no problem with SGA being that high. He was first team All NBA last year over Luka.
Luka's too high for me. I mean, I think that goes without saying that I would say something like that. Luka's too high for me. He can be in the top 10, but four?
As an individual talent, I cannot speak highly enough of Luka Doncic. I just can't. As an individual talent. Like, sure, if we're talking basketball player and teammate, and would you like to watch him on your team for 82 games? It's a different conversation. But as an individual talent, as a basketball player, I would say he is unquestionably a top 5 talent in the NBA right now.
I understand why Joel Embiid is number 3.
I don't love it.
He's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I think he's been injured. He hasn't really won.
He hasn't won. Yeah, definitely. That's been the big thing.
That's pretty high for me.
Yep.
Yeah, Jokic and Giannis, I got no
It's
qualms,
interchangeable.
so-
Yeah, I mean, Jokic and Giannis, I could cause a stink if I wanted to about Jokic should be number 1, but it's really, you're splitting hairs at that point. It is kind of a little bit more like choose your style with that one. But
yeah.
I do feel a little better because they do have Devin Booker at 11.
Okay. I couldn't find
And
it.
then
Yeah.
it looks like Jimmy 12, Ant Edwards 13.
Jimmy 12?
Jimmy 12 is way too high.
Jimmy 12?
That's like peak Jimmy. Like that's Jimmy when we see him in the playoffs, Jimmy, not Jimmy for 82 games in the regular season. And I more for rankings, I would much rather lean more towards 82 game player as opposed to
that's just trying to be
playoff stretch.
respectful.
They also just basically took Kawhi off the list altogether.
Okay, that's another thing. Kawhi was 24, and it goes Kawhi, De'Aaron, Sabonis.
Wait, which order are we going?
It goes Kawhi is 20, so Kawhi's 24, Fox is 23, Sabonis is 22. So they have Fox and Sabonis as better players than Kawhi Leonard right now. I very much disagree. When Kawhi Leonard played last year, that man was out of control. And now that is a big if or when he plays. But man, oh man, he's ridiculous even still.
You're talking to a guy who's not a big Kawhi guy.
That's very fair.
Because I think that Kawhi had a moment in time, and look, injuries are injuries.
Yes.
I can't say whether you can play or not. But you can't make the club in the tub, okay? And he had some good games. He had some good seasons, some outstanding seasons.
Yes.
I don't know where to put him, to be completely honest with you. I'm not even saying that he should be lower. Or he's gonna get. I don't know.
Yeah,
because he doesn't play a lot.
Yeah, right.
Right. He doesn't play a lot. You could say, look at Paul George and some of the seasons where Kawhi didn't play, and Paul George carried the Clippers. So I don't know what to do with Kawhi right now. But
it's fair.
To me, De'Aaron, if we're going back to starting a franchise, I'm taking De'Aaron over Kawhi.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm taking him over
100%.
Kawhi. I think that Sabonis might be a little bit more questionable over
It is.
over
It's very
Kawhi.
questionable. Yeah.
Because if you think about if they're including availability, might be different.
Yeah.
But in terms of when on the court,
even still,
you're going to go Kawhi over Sabonis.
What do you think about Halliburton's 21? Do you think that's a troll job? Not a troll job, not an intentional troll, but like, is that a coincidence? Do you think that it's a coincidence that it goes Fox, Sabonis, and then Halliburton? Are they trying to elicit a reaction? And then B, where do you fall? And I know we got to hit a break here, so maybe we can tease this, but like, where do you fall on that? Where does Halliburton stand when it comes to comparing to Sabonis, who he was directly traded for, and De'Aaron Fox, who, I won't go into the nitty gritties, but on the surface, they picked De'Aaron over Halliburton.
You will get that answer after the break.
After the break.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award?
Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and Sactownsports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to Sactownsports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening with Ram Power Days?
We love American muscle, and right now is the last call on new 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger SXTs before they're gone, with lease payments as low as $399.
What about all those Ram trucks I see?
Save thousands with 0% financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew Cabs. And we all know 0% financing is almost impossible to find in 2023.
These deals can't last long. So hurry into Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
Take 0% financing for 72 months plus $6,000 dealer discount. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $13.89 per thousand borrowed. Lease new 2023 Dodge Charger or Challenger SXT for $399 a month for 42 months with $49.95 due signing plus tax, license fees, and any accessories. Offer subject to credit approval through U.S. Bank with 10,000 allowable miles per year. 25 cents per mile excess mileage charge. 5 each net savings. See dealer for details.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points, and Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. D'Angelo Russell scored 21 for the Lakers, while Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James did not play. The Kings play again Sunday at Golden One Center against the Golden State Warriors. In baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers in a 3-game series with a 4-2 victory last night, and the Houston Astros eliminated the Twins to advance to their 7th consecutive American League Championship Series. In the NFL, the Denver Broncos play Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City tonight. Coverage of Thursday Night Football begins at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Time to let you know that the NorCal Sportsman's Show is this weekend, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Chris and Company with Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up until 2 p.m. talking ESPN NBA Top 100. We've gone over the top 10 real quick. Giannis, number 1. Jokic, number 2. Joel Embiid, number 3. Luka, number 4. Steph, number 5. Now we want to talk about is ESPN trolling.
Yes.
That was Chris's question to me as Halliburton was 1 spot ahead of Sabonis.
Yes.
And 2 spots ahead of De'Aaron Fox.
Yes.
I think it's possible. I also think it makes sense. I think that's where I would put Halliburton. I'm surprised he's not a little bit higher because of it's this thing that goes on with the NBA when it's the brand, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see, going back to the face of the NBA conversation, I don't see De'Aaron Fox on a lot of these podcasts, right? I don't see him on podcasts.
Right.
I see Halliburton everywhere.
Yeah.
He's talking about how Steve Kerr told people don't change his jump shot if he makes it. And he's talking about all these things. So I do think some of that goes into it. So because of that, I'm actually a little surprised he's not a little bit higher, but a little bit of troll jobby for ESPN. Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think just a little bit. I think it helps. I think I definitely don't think that it was their direct intention, but I think when they saw it line up like that, they probably weren't quick to have a conversation about should we change it or anything. They were probably like, oh, that's pretty funny. I mean, and just in general, I think everybody's kind of fallen on the, it's a win for both sides. It's the most even trade in history and all that stuff, which I do agree with. But just in general, I mean, do you feel like the Kings do you feel like it was a mistake? I think is still, I think, again, for the most part, people have kind of fallen on both sides, got what they wanted out of the trade. But, that's also sitting here right now in 8 years. Do you think we'll still be saying the Kings made the right move by letting go of Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, I mean, you see flashes in the pan a lot in basketball. So I don't know what Tyrese Halliburton's going to be.
Also wasn't on a winning team last year.
Wasn't on a winning team. So he's just putting up huge numbers because of it. Sabonis, I don't really know where. I mean, obviously he falls in mid-20s, right, in terms of top NBA and star power. The question ultimately is, could Fox and Halliburton coexist, right? And I do think so. But I'm a guard guy. I like guards.
Yeah.
Give me all the guards and figure it out later. I could see De'Aaron Fox being more off ball with Halliburton kind of running the point and a lot of different things going on. Now, at that point, I think because you have him at 2, I don't know if it's Herter or whoever, something else would have had to change.
Sure.
If you're asking me, do I think you could find a Sabonis type player somewhere else?
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes. And I say that as respectfully as possible.
Yeah.
As respectfully as possible. But doesn't matter. Right. You got Sabonis, and I might be underselling Sabonis a little bit, to be fair. But I do think that there is I always am going to think that 2 guards can exist until I see it and think that it can't. I just think that these guys are world-class athletes. And even if it only works for a year, right, with the Warriors and Jordan Poole, we knew Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, and Steph, they weren't going to, first of all, pay all those guys. They were going to have all those too many guards on one team at one time. Well, it's funny because now they have Chris Paul, so they kind of are redoing it. But I think it could have worked out. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. But what we do know is that Bryce Harper owned the Braves and Orlando Arcia last night with 2 home runs. And I want to talk about this in a different way because Bryce finds out that after game 2, Arcia says, "Attaboy, Bryce," because Bryce got doubled up to end that game. And one of the reporters leaked that and say they heard Arcia say that. Gets to Bryce, and now
Bryce revenge game.
Game. It's printed on shirts. Philly already is insane.
Right.
So you give them that
little fuel to the fire.
You give them that fuel to the fire, and now the Braves are saying, we don't think it's, I hate to use the word fair, but we didn't think it was fair that something that we said in the locker room got leaked outside. That's why we said it in the locker room. What are your thoughts on the media being in there? Because some people are saying soft.
Yeah.
Some people are saying technically he's not wrong. Where are you at?
I think that in general, there's kind of like more from the media side. Are you wondering, or just in general? In general, I kind of feel like, it's a little bit of narrative building for me. Like it's not. I don't necessarily think, I don't really believe in bulletin board material truly playing a factor in results. I'm not saying bulletin board material doesn't exist and it's not a thing that people will use to try and motivate them, but is it like how much of a coincidence is it that this happened and then Bryce Harper hits 2 home runs the following? Like, what are you saying? Bryce put more effort into it? Like, there's so many different factors that go into like that happening that I think it's just in terms of the story itself, it feels like it's just a coincidence. But from the media side of things, like, should the reporter have came out with that statement and are the Braves justified in being upset about it? I do think that there is kind of or should be, I should say, I shouldn't say there is, but there should be an unspoken kind of thing with media understanding that there's a time when things are on the record and a time where things are off the record, whether or not it be in a formal capacity of like a scrum or just something you overhear in a locker room. And then also what you're going to run with and tweet. I mean, especially now with how media is, you can put things in your stories or you can put things in tweets and how differently, you know, the wildfire spreads in each one of those things. I think for the most part, media should understand that something like that is kind of an anecdote that I would say maybe you say like in a podcast in passing, but I wouldn't have made it into a thing that's like, could have then turned into bulletin board, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I struggle with this because they're in there all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
And I'm sure this isn't the first time somebody in the media has heard something and put it out, even though nobody officially said that to them. I struggle because we're not talking about this if the Braves win.
Right, exactly.
You know, so to your point, are you blaming the media because of the fact that you got smacked?
Yes. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
We might not even be talking about it if Bryce doesn't hit those 2 home runs.
Right. And the Phillies still win. Right. So I don't know if, and to your point, if you need fuel to the fire, I do think so. I agree with you and I disagree with you because
that's a wonderful place to be.
Yes. As far as Bryce is concerned,
yeah,
I think Bryce is one of my favorite players. And I think, did I say that last week that I played?
I don't think so.
I faced Bryce back in Summer League years ago.
When he was in that wood bat league
when he
or
was,
whatever?
so not in college.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit older than him. So Bryce was playing up, of course, and I faced Bryce and I got to, you know, shake his hand when we finished the game. And that dude is a monster. And he was like 16 at that point.
Yeah.
And he did hit a Jimmy Jack Johnson against us that I don't even know has landed yet. Okay. So I've always been a Bryce guy. I think he's great for the game. So Bryce strikes me as one of those guys that it definitely, he said once it came out, the guys on the Phillies, his teammates came up to him and said, "What are you going to do about that?" Yeah. And they told him and they challenged him. So I think that it definitely drove Bryce to get to another level. So, and that I do think it helped Bryce.
Sure.
Do I think it should have affected how the Braves came out? No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You're not going to it's soft for the Braves to say it.
Yeah.
Because after you lost.
Using it as an excuse.
Just
as
take the L.
Yeah.
Just take the L, okay? If it wasn't for the media member, would you have left that curveball up?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Would you have missed your spot on that fastball? Is that what would have happened?
Right.
Or offensively, if nothing would have said, would you have hit better? Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. But Bryce,
I can hear that part.
You
where
know
it's
what
like,
I mean?
especially Bryce, because Bryce is the type of dude he's got some energy, he's got some fire to him, and again, fuel to the fire. Like if you light a little bit under Bryce, he might turn this, okay, maybe I'm just trying to get on base, to, no, I'm sending this to the parking lot. Or to those, I don't know if you saw, there was those 2 dudes who were just up on the top of the runway.
What was that? That was so strange.
Idea.
They're just 2 people on top of the stadium in right field. I was like, what are they doing up there?
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, that's what the saying goes. So here's the thing. Don't poke the bear.
Yep.
But what if you don't know that you're poking the bear? That's what I think was maybe
it was just said in the lot. Like
that's what's a little unfair.
It's like
because
they weren't intentionally trying to poke the bear. They were just celebrating a win at that.
Exactly.
Whatever.
And now it turned into, oh, you guys are talking trash, when every locker room probably does that. So I guess the question becomes, how often does things like this get said, but the but the media member doesn't say anything.
Doesn't. Yeah.
Like, I kind of heard
all
them
the time.
talking smack, but
Especially
I'm not going
in
to
the
report that.
playoffs. Especially in the playoffs.
So what side are you? So it's like, I guess everybody is
Everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong.
Everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
The Braves are wrong for complaining about it. The media member is wrong for leaking it.
Yeah.
And everybody's wrong besides the Phillies, I guess.
Yeah, I just think that there needs to be some sort of sanctity or freedom of speech in your locker room, especially, again, if it's not in a directed media setting, like, hey, let's scrum around this guy's locker. If they're just talking in the locker room and you guys are in there waiting to be officially let in, like, I think that you need to allow the locker room to celebrate, to cheer, to talk to each other without always having. This is why there's such a distrust from players and media in general. It's why guys are always careful about what they say, why guys are so adversarial with media members, because they want to just live their lives and feel free to be who they are in these settings. But especially in today's age, like, everything you say can and will be used against you.
Yeah. And that is a part of the integrity of journalism, for sure, because it's called off the record. Mm-hmm. That definitely is. So what did you say? I heard someone say this off the record. Well, it ain't off the record if you said it.
Exactly.
No one says, oh, I'm not. That's like when I watch a lot of Law and Order, when they say, strike that from the record.
Like,
you know,
we all heard it.
We all heard it already. Because the lawyer already knows. They're just like, the objection up, sustained. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't. Yeah, it's a tough one, man. But I understand why the Braves were upset, but you can't say anything because you held the L.
Yeah.
You just got
to take your L and you got to walk off.
All right. Speaking of L's, it is time. We got sound. We are making fun of the Dodgers when we get back because we are sad if you are a Giants or an A's fan, and it's all we got as far as this baseball playoffs are concerned. All that and more Sactown Sports when we get back.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA3 Weather Center, and mostly sunny skies expected this afternoon with temperatures warming into the upper 70s, about 78 degrees for downtown Sacramento. Cloud cover starts to increase through the night tonight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
The NorCal Sportsman Show is coming October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Get huge year-end deals on everything outdoor. Hunting, fishing, camping, golf, and more. Plus free interactive family activities, live music, the Big O Tires Custom Car Show, and a real catch and release pond from Fisherman's Warehouse. Don't miss this first ever event, sponsored by Roseville Auto Mall. Get your tickets now at NorCalSportsmanShow.com. That's NorCalSportsmanShow.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
No, those guys, they get paid a lot of money to play baseball too. They're not just rolling over and saying you guys can win. So it doesn't matter about, when you get in the postseason, man, you got to play well. And we have not. You can point to a million different things, but at the end of the day, you got to play well. Felt like I prepared the right way, and but I just did not execute anything. Got to tip your cap to them. They pitched the ball really great. So we didn't score very many runs, but again, I didn't do anything to help the team.
Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins. That was one. Mookie Betts, one of my favorite players. Unfortunate that he plays for the Dodgers. So it pains me to do this, but they just came out and they played better than us, and they get paid on the other side too. And I didn't do anything to help my team. Well, Mookie, I hope your podcast is doing well.
I hope it's doing great.
Because that's the only place where you performed over the last week or so. And this is tough, man, because I like Mookie, but that is the most cliche. They get paid on that side, too. Like, you can't script a more cliched
athlete talk right there.
Athlete talk. Hey, they get paid on that side.
Yeah.
And Mookie has had
Hats off to them.
Yeah. Hey, they competed.
Yep.
They competed.
Yep.
And Mookie has had an interesting career to where not anywhere near Kershaw, but there is a group of people that feel like Mookie is not the same in the playoffs. He's had his moments. He had his moments with the Red Sox. He's had a couple moments here with the Dodgers, but he'll go to me a lot of times in the playoffs. Mookie will go to singles, right? He's a smaller dude, just like myself. So I love that about him. He's hitting dingers, he's hitting bombs in the regular season. Playoff comes around, he's hitting singles. He's not really stealing anymore. It's kind of like, where you at, buddy?
Yeah. In the last 3 playoff runs, Mookie Betts is 6 for 47.
That sounds
That's
bad.
in the 2021 NLCS, the DS last year, where he lost to San Diego, and this year's series against the D-backs.
6 for 47.
That is roughly comes out to around like 140 batting average and about a sub 500 OPS. Not on base percentage, not slugging, combined below 500.
Wow. That's bad.
That's bad. That's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Especially considering the caliber of player Mookie is and the dollar figure that they're paying.
Right. And, these names don't matter when you get to the postseason.
Yeah.
It could sound great. It could sound all good and well, but it does not matter when to an extent. Right. Well, when you don't
the Dodgers feel like they're pushing the extent about as far as you can.
Yes. When you don't produce, it doesn't matter. So, Mookie had some things to say. He's doing, and I don't know who the heck the captain of that team is. You got Freddie Freeman, you got Mookie, you got Kershaw. They almost seem, and that was my selling point to Shohei before they lost. Not that I wanted them to win the World Series, but to Shohei, I actually did mention this in talking about Shohei coming to the Giants. Not that I necessarily think that's a possibility either, but would you sacrifice the Dodgers winning the World Series so that Shohei might feel like I'm not going to join the team who just won the World Series? Well, now we don't have to worry about that because the Dodgers are choke artists. So hopefully Shohei says, well, I don't want to join some choke artists.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't know what it is with the Dodgers. I don't know. Dave Roberts is a guy who.
That's what my question
And
goes.
we got some sound from Dave Roberts that we can go to. Here he is.
You look at the game, the series, they outplayed us. And there's no other spin to it. And I tip my hat to those guys and wish them well. I think we got great players. I've got to figure out a way to get these guys prepared for whatever format, whatever series. So, the regular season, I think we do a great job. But, the last couple postseasons, it just hasn't gone well for us.
Did you hear that?
Do a lot of hat tipping.
Did you hear that little nod? It was very slight, but I want to know if you caught that. Where he says, we got to get our guys ready for any format. And what he's doing is he is throwing fuel to the fire and a lot of people saying that they don't like the current format of the 5 games.
Yeah.
The current format of the 5 games and also who gets to face who.
Yeah.
So that is Dave Roberts kind of copping out a little bit. A little bit. You got to read between the tea leaves.
Right.
It sounds like he said all the right things, but he's still saying kind of, hey, we would have beat them in a 7-game series.
Right.
Which, brother, no, you wouldn't.
You were going to be down 3.
No.
It's not.
It's not.
There's no Red Sox Yankee magic.
Who would have been their Game 4 starter if they had Lynn in Game 3?
You would have been. You would have been suit up.
Let's go. I
Get
got
on
this.
in there.
Look, as the baseball casual in this conversation, like at what point does Dave Roberts have to just like he's got to face the music, or should the Dodgers face the music with Dave Roberts? Like, and I know that's been an ongoing conversation. I can't believe he's still the manager, but like, at what point is this too much? Is this too much losing in these big situations where they have the necessary talent to get it done, but don't? Like, at some point it's got to fall on his shoulders.
It's funny you say that because Giants fans might be laughing if Dave Roberts gets let go, but maybe they shouldn't be because who was with Dave Roberts in LA? Mr. Farhan Zaidi.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know what Giants fans would do to go from Gabe Kapler. You finally got out.
Yeah.
Mr. Looking for the best burger, the coolest coach this side of the Mississippi. Just got back from outside lands.
Yeah, letting you know what his favorite coffee is. Favorite,
the trendiest coach
cold brew
in the history of Major League Baseball. You finally got rid of him. You want to bring in some some older guy that just makes you feel all right, some Bruce Bochy-esque guy.
Yeah.
If the Giants bring in Dave Roberts, I don't know what Giants fans would do. I don't know. I don't know.
God.
Is
that the equivalent of Chris Paul coming to Golden State? Is that like Richard Sherman going to the Niners?
It's close, but even worse because he has power.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
He has power. I mean, Chris Paul, if he stinks, we're going to sit you on the bench. Richard Sherman, you can't play no more. We got to sit you on the bench. Dave Roberts would be the guy. And you know what? That's at least 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, at least. At least.
I don't think it would happen. But it could.
They're still holding out for Bo Mel. That's what I feel. I feel like that's
yeah.
That just makes
he's staying.
so much sense.
He's staying in purgatory in San Diego.
Yeah, he's staying in San Diego. There's a lot of guys to choose from. I mean, I believe Bo Mel already turned down some teams, so I don't know what the Giants are going to do, but it can't be Dave Roberts.
No.
And I don't even know because here's the problem with this. And we did the same thing with Gabe Kapler. There are decisions that you make, and you make the right ones, you make the wrong ones. If your team just ain't hitting and can't pitch, I don't even know. It's not even Dave Roberts' fault. Right. There have been years. I don't even know if this one's on Dave Roberts.
No.
He just says, hey, man.
He threw Clayton Kershaw.
Y'all supposed to play.
He did pinch hit Austin Barnes yesterday.
He did. Well, and somehow, some way, I don't know if it's injury or what, but I saw something when they were still in L.A. The Dodgers had their season on their line and ended up having Kike Hernandez up to plate and Colton Wong.
I remember that because I had no idea Colton Wong was on the Dodgers.
Me neither.
He was on the Mariners earlier this year. I was like, what is he? And then they showed his stats. He was like 400 OPS. I was like, what is happening?
No, that is not how the Dodgers drew it up. At some points, and it's cool, but Mookie, why are you playing shortstop and second base?
It's awesome to see.
It's awesome.
It's great.
But why when you have this type of payroll?
Right.
So I don't know what the Dodgers have to do. And then we had to see Magic Johnson. Okay,
tragic.
talk about trolls.
Yes.
Right? And we talk about shticks.
Yes.
And Jokic and Giannis and Steph. Is Magic Johnson for real with these tweets?
Yes.
Or is it a shtick?
Yes.
Yes,
I think all of the above.
There's some rumors flying around that he pays someone to send out those tweets. That's not actually him.
That makes sense to me. I could believe that because
should he fire that person because that person has the most bland tweets possible?
But I think it's on purpose. It's all you wait for it now.
Weird thing to want to be your thing.
Well, so is Jokic not liking basketball or not liking anything.
Yeah, I guess.
But once it hits, it hits.
I mean, the Magic tweets hit every single time. I mean, like the Dodgers tweet last night. Didn't he have a Commanders tweet last week that was terrible as well?
Yeah, it was disappointing for us to lose to the Chicago Bears or something like that
on Thursday Night Football on Amazon.
Yeah, but they played better than we did. And we didn't score enough points.
Yes.
Or something like
that.
You know who else does that is Booger McFarland. Booger gets in trouble for that. In person, though, because he'll say, guys, we got to be honest here.
Yeah.
If the Commanders score more than the Bears, they're going to win this football game.
Yeah, and then it's the photo of him in the Booger Mobile when he was sitting on the sidelines.
Oh, gosh. R.I.P. the Booger Mobile.
They're going to win this football game. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, it is time to switch into football mode as we talk Brock Purdy and what he still needs to prove, if anything at all. All that and more. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain. As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
This is Dr. Pamela Maida, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
Children especially benefit from arch supports as a sturdy and supportive foundation for their developing feet. If your kids have pain, then I recommend Youth Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain in the feet, knees, hip, or back. If your child is physically active with sports, clubs, or even on the playground, they may benefit from the comfort and support found in Good Feet Youth Arch Supports.
I firmly believe that investing in Youth Arch Supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make to support their feet.
See how Youth Arch Supports can help with a free arch support fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points, and new King Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. The Kings play again Sunday in the preseason at home against the Golden State Warriors. In baseball, the Phillies and Braves will be playing Game 4 of their series today at 4 o'clock p.m., and in the NFL, the Denver Broncos play Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City tonight. Denver has lost 15 straight games against Kansas City. And also, this is going to be the first time Patrick Mahomes has ever played the last-ranked defense in the NFL. Coverage of Thursday Night Football begins at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. It's time to let you know that the NorCal Sportsman's Show is this weekend, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Stiles and Watkins here on Sactown Sports.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports, Watkins and Stiles, taking up to 2 p.m. And it's time to talk red and gold. And Mr. Irrelevant, the Disney story, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to be something. I don't know who. Somebody's going to make a lot of money off this guy.
Yeah. I mean, they had the Giannis movie on Disney Plus. They could definitely squeeze
Did you
a
watch
Brock
that?
Party. No, I didn't.
Is it for kids, I guess?
I think so, but I honestly don't know who it's for.
It's the Giannisified version because Giannis is an executive producer on the project.
Okay. Is that supposed to make me want to watch it more?
No. If you want to know the Giannis story, Miran Fader did a great book on Giannis. That's what you should read instead of watching the movie.
Okay. I when I was a kid, I did read a lot of athlete books growing up. Read Bo Jackson, Ken Griffey, Tiger Woods. Not so much now, maybe because it's like what you're aspiring to do. So I'm happy that the story is getting told. I'm sure there's got to be a really good. Well, I know Marcus Thompson did a really good Steph book. I'm sure there's a great Steph book and LeBron and all of them.
Did you watch the Apple Plus Steph documentary? Here it's a little propagandish.
I didn't love it.
Which they all tend to be.
I didn't love it, but I know it was specifically about being underrated.
Which,
it wasn't about his. What do you mean?
Come on.
What are we talking about?
Come on.
Don't do this.
7th pick in the draft.
Don't do this.
Father was an NBA
It's
player.
No. It's before he was a 7th pick. It's Davidson.
Right.
It's Davidson.
Yeah.
Think Davidson.
For sure.
That's it.
That's underrated. Yeah.
I just think, Steph, enough. Okay. It's Davidson.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, he was underrated at Davidson for sure. And then he was properly rated.
I don't know about a Steph book, but if you want a good Warriors book, Ethan Strauss's book on the Warriors dynasty is excellent.
He's the one that was beefing with KD, I think.
He talks about it in the book, too. Talks about going to meet KD for the first time and then how their relationship developed. Is pretty good. I would recommend it.
Wow. Kyle, big reader.
I guess so, yeah.
Here's a question. If you listen to an audiobook, did you read a book?
I say yes, but I also don't read.
Yes.
We're going ice cold here.
I don't read, so.
We have science on our side. They've backed up that your brain uses the same functions when you listen to an audiobook as when you read a book.
Send me that link. I don't know. Send me that reference. I don't know about that. I don't know.
I just feel like, I mean, you're getting the same information. Like, you're literally getting the same exact information. It's just a different way of consuming it.
What about your eyes?
What about them?
You got to use them.
Why? Why do you have to? Like, I mean,
because you have to.
You can retain information in different ways.
So you're telling me, my daughter gets a little bit older and she fires up an audiobook and I'd say, hey, you need to go read.
Yeah.
She goes, I just did.
She got all the same information.
No.
Like, it's like, okay, so if
I can't do that.
So like if you were to read our audiobook and then we were to have a test, like we're back in school on like a book or whatever, like like how you would just have a test on a book of the knowledge from the book. You think that I would not be nearly as prepared as you were?
No, I think you would be, but that's not my argument.
I don't know what your argument is then.
I'm not really sure either. But all I know
it just
is
doesn't feel the same.
I feel like I'm get off my lawn. You gotta
there's
read
tons
the book.
of people. I don't read, so I have this argument.
No,
all
I
the
do
time
have my argument. I do know what my argument is.
Sure.
I do know what my argument is.
Okay.
You might even have a better book report than me, right?
Yeah.
But I still don't think you read it. That's the difference.
Okay, if we're doing letter of the law, yes, I did not read.
That's
the
all
book.
I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You're still processing the information all the same.
What are you supposed to say then? Like I didn't read that book.
I heard about it. I heard it.
That sounds misleading.
I heard about it. I heard the book.
I heard the book. It was a good book.
I listened to the book.
I hear you, book.
I heard the book. I heard about the book. Sounds like I just know it exists.
I heard about the book. I hear there's a man about a book. No, I would say I listened to the audiobook.
Yes.
What's so hard about that? Don't tell me you read it.
Why not though?
Because you didn't.
It's semantics. It's really just like
fine. I listened to the Ethan Strauss audiobook.
Did you really?
Yes.
But you told me you read it.
Yes, because I did.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you, I listened to Brian Windhorse's book on LeBron James.
Okay,
but
you said you listened.
Yeah, but I read it.
No.
Like
yeah, you read it and
okay, no,
listened to it.
916-339-1140. Is listening to an audiobook the same as reading?
Can we get a poll up, Kyle?
Yes, please get the poll up.
Thank you.
I don't think you're going to be right on this, Alan.
No, I'm telling you, I think that this is like a very much like I play tennis and tennis people don't like pickleball, even though it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of the same thing where it's just like, if you are an active participant in reading, if you would consider yourself a reader, just something about that other thing doesn't feel as justified or whatever, as legitimate as what it is that you're doing.
Right.
Like me as a tennis player is like, you do pickleball, like it's kind of the same thing, but why don't you just play tennis?
Yes.
It's like audiobook reading. Why don't you just read the book? I think is where a lot of readers fall.
Well, here you go. And I promise I won't read the ones that agree with me, but I am going to start with one that agrees with me. Cameron D, listening to books is not reading. Thank you, Cameron. I will read if some come through for you.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Reading is not listening.
Pike 916 Styles.
I'm not arguing
There are
that.
different styles of learning.
Yes.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not
sounds
disagreeing.
like you are.
No, I'm not even disagreeing
It actually doesn't sound
that you're taking in the information possibly better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying you didn't read it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's any worse.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, you're just saying you didn't do that.
You just didn't
That's
crack
fair.
open a book.
That's fair.
Now
That's fair.
what you're saying is, those Kindles, you're saying, oh, well, you didn't use a book.
Yeah.
That's semantics. This is two completely different things.
I guess. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
I'm very curious to see what people
we're gonna
call
let
on
the
this.
people answer.
Yeah, we're gonna let
this,
the people
'cause
decide.
They may be wrong, but they're gonna at least get the chance to answer it.
There you go. I trust in our good listeners here at Sactown.
We have science on our side over here.
All right, that's fine. That's fair enough. All right, speaking of trust, the Niners trust in Brock Purdy.
Yes.
And Mike Sando of The Athletic had some things to say, and I'll let you kind of get into it in terms of what he has left to prove.
Yes. So Mike Sando, great writer for The Athletic, great football writer, wrote this story today for The Athletic. 49ers Brock Purdy could be the next Joe Montana, Tom Brady, or Dak Prescott. And he really just goes through all the highs of Brock Purdy, but we've been waxing poetic about Brock Purdy for I don't even know how long now, 4 or 5 weeks now. So what intrigued me more about this article is what Brock hasn't proven yet. And now this is not trying to take down Brock Purdy. This is not saying his limitations. This is just merely saying when you're evaluating him as a quarterback, what has he still not shown that could determine? You just don't know yet. And the big thing that Mike Sando points out here is Brock Purdy has not played from down in the final minutes of a game. Brock Purdy has attempted only 5 passes all of this season while the 49ers have trailed on the scoreboard. To compare that with someone else, my team's quarterback, Kirk Cousins, has thrown 161 passes this season while trailing. And so only 3.7 of Brock's passes have come while trailing, while Kirk's 79% have come while Kirk Cousins is trailing. And that's really the thing that Mike Sando points at the most is just we have not seen Brock Purdy game coming down to the line. He's got to orchestrate a 80, 75-yard drive with 2 minutes to go. What does that look like? How should you feel about Brock's chances going into that situation? We don't know. We just don't know. And that's the thing. It's not saying Brock can't do it. It's not where I think it feels like the narrative is starting to go is, oh yeah, Brock is as good as anyone else in any situation. We just don't know. We just haven't seen it yet. And to me, that's still it's a really big thing that needs to be answered. And I don't think the 49ers are going to want to get that answer for the first time in the postseason. That to me is where it might be a detriment if the 49ers continue to just blow teams out week after week after week. I think there is something to getting some reps in clutch time and learning, okay, who can we trust? Where do we go? And most importantly, for when it comes to this conversation, can Brock do it? What does Brock look like when the chips are down and you need him to go make a play? To me, that's even, that's where the haters side gets a lot of validation is just, we don't know how he will perform when the weight of the game is on his shoulders.
That's a tough one because if you're never in that position, isn't that a good thing?
Yes, it is.
And it does
Very
go back
much.
to the idea of the roster and how good the roster is. I get all that. But I mean, we saw a version of that against the Rams at the end of right before halftime, and he took them literally all the way down the field. I think, I mean, to be honest, isn't that 2-minute drill or less than 2 minutes when done right, and you have the right personnel? I mean, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo do stuff like that all the time.
Exactly.
So if we're following that kind of path, is that the one thing that Jimmy can do? And Jimmy did it because he was throwing picks, so they would
the rest of so it's the only reason the game was close. The game should have been a blowout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit like under a microscope.
Yes. It's narrative serving. To
It
me,
is.
that's what this is. This is all just Brock needs to do it so that we can talk about whatever side it is that he falls. Like we can either say, oh, but this is the massive hole in his game, or we can say, oh no, this is this is the moments that make, like, when you compile this with how he plays throughout the game, this is the Tom Brady case for Brock Purdy, the Tom Brady trajectory for Brock Purdy, or the Joe Montana, whatever great you want to use. To me, that's all that this is. This is the final narrative piece for Brock Purdy. I think we've seen enough of his, in the flow of the game to know that he's more than a passable starting quarterback, especially in this offense. But people want to have the big conversation about him. They want to say, all right, this guy's capable of winning a Super Bowl. Me and Kyle were kind of joking before the show, like, all right, it's October. I want to see if Brock Purdy today, show me if you can win in January. And it feels like that's just the thing that people want to see now. It's wake me up when I can figure out if this guy's good enough to win a Super Bowl. And that's just not how it works.
Well, again, it turns into everything is perfect in the world of the Niners. Yeah. So there's nothing to talk about. Yep. And when there's nothing to talk about, we're gonna find things to talk about. Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me, man. I mean, sure, but I just also, if somebody has been playing in a way, and again, no picks, so you don't lose leads, all those things, I would feel pretty confident saying when teams are playing prevent defense, and things like that, that Brock Purdy would be able to get it done. Yeah. So I understand you got to find content, but I'm not necessarily rocking with that. We got to get to a break. When we get back, a Hall of Famer says they'll take a quarterback that a lot of people think is a future Hall of Famer. They'll take Brock Purdy over that quarterback. We'll discuss all that and more when we get back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get your retirement savings to play ball with your retirement plan. Call Cap Trust today at 916-924-7527 or log on to captrust.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet. What's happening for Jeep Adventure Days?
With gas prices skyrocketing, good gas mileage is more important now than ever. And right now, you can save up to $11,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S 4xE plug-in hybrid.
But what about hauling the family around?
Well, save even more with up to $14,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited 4xE plug-in hybrid. Great mileage and big savings on one of America's most loved SUVs.
These deals can't last long, so hurry in to Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. 11,000 total Wrangler 4xe net savings on lease only after 8,500 factory rebates and 2,500 dealer discount. 14,000 total Grand Cherokee 4xe net savings on lease only after 11,500 factory rebates and 2,500 dealer discount. Lease options subject to credit approval. Not everyone will qualify. Rebates include 7,500 federal tax credit rebates. Subject to change without notice. 5 at each net savings. See dealer for details.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. And before we get back into the sports, let's see, I'm just going to vote here myself. Before we get to the sports, Kyle, how are we doing on that poll so far?
Well, before you fudge the numbers just right now, before that, we were looking at, is reading an audio book, does that count as reading a book? Or sorry, is listening to an audiobook, is that reading or just listening? And 69% say it's just listening, and 31% say it's reading.
You know what this is like? I've been thinking about it. This is like you put some chicken in the air fryer, and you're like, no, this is not fried chicken. Because you didn't throw it in the you didn't do the proper thing, you didn't drop it in the grease or nothing like that.
What this is like is, I went to Chipotle or whatever and I got cauliflower rice. Because it's rice, but it's actually not rice.
Oh
but
God,
it doubles
now we're
as
gonna
rice.
do this. Yeah.
Okay.
But you're agreeing that it's similar, right?
Yeah,
you're
it's
doing
similar.
the same skills.
I'll tell you what. Hey, Chris.
Yep.
Did you listen? Did you read the new Drake album? I just read the new Drake album.
I read the lyrics.
You're not sitting down and reading the actual lyrics, though. That's not how you're consuming the album.
See, apparently I did. You listen, I read albums.
You were reading them off a pice of paper?
I don't even
know.
No
headphones?
I would.
I hate that argument so much. Oh, it makes me so upset.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like... I can't tell if you're like, if the argument is quite literally reading is not listening, then yes, I definitely obviously.
That's where it stops for me.
So it's literally just the letter of the law that you're upset with.
That's
the
right.
fact that you can't say you read if you didn't actually use your eyeballs to consume the medium.
This is so simple to me. This is so simple.
It's just
it's okay.
It's so I get that part, but why is there an active attack against the listeners?
Oh, no. Well, no, it's no active attack. It's somebody that is just running around, right? Because, okay, let's be honest. Reading is something that is connected with intelligence.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
And hey, I am
well-read.
Yes, I am worldly.
You're worldly, yes.
I am well-spoken. So if you're running around telling people I read 10 books a day, and then you tell me they're audiobooks, I'm going to say, really? Really?
You know what we need now? We need a stenographer to just log our show so that people can
read our shows.
People can read Stiles and Watkins instead of watching it on YouTube.
Just read it.
I hate this. You are kind of changing my mind.
No,
thank you,
Simone. No,
thank you.
Stay strong, Simone. We have science on our side.
Like it's not even like I'm willing to hear you if you want to say like, hey, you watched the movie, you didn't really read the book. That totally makes sense to me.
I'm with you
because like that's you're possibly missing information that wasn't included because of the translation, but there's no difference in the information gathered. It's just the
you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
Floundering.
No. Yeah, what you're doing is, okay, somebody, let's say there are a couple guys in a room and they're all different heights, right? Okay. What you're doing is because you know where I'm going with this. What you're doing is, hey, I'm not tall, but I'm not that short. That's what you're doing. I didn't watch the movie. I listened to the audiobook, but I didn't read.
And I think didn't read. An important distinction here too is, there are larger words. Our English language, for example, is very complicated. So I think you can ingest and hear a word and understand what it means. But sometimes if it's on the page, you got to look it up, right?
And that's part of it, because I'll tell you
that's
what.
That's why I'm changing. You're changing my mind.
Well, I'll tell you what. The first time, well, sometimes movies help you because I read the first 3 books of Harry Potter, calling Hermione Hermione.
Same way my girlfriend talks about that all the time.
Hermione.
I did the same thing.
Hermione.
And you
she
guys
called her
are
Hermione.
really going to hate me because I heard it as an audiobook. It was a tape back in the day.
Here we go.
It was a tape
You're
back in the day.
You're a real lifer.
Wow, what's that?
You're really loyal to your soil here. That's crazy.
And so the argument, if I were to switch sides, if I could argue against myself here, I will say, reading is by far a more active, medium of doing it. Like when you're reading, your focus is completely on the text, where I can audiobook and put my dishes away, audiobook it, and you might not be as locked in as reading.
I should have been a lawyer. I should have been.
I should not, because I just argued against my own case.
Point, then I've read, Jack in the YouTube chat was arguing the same point, and I've read books before where I don't retain the information. The book was not stimulating, exciting, whatever the point may be.
Reread it.
Sorry, Ward in the chat just brought up a great. This is if a blind person uses Braille to read a book, is that feeling a book, or did they read a book?
That's different. That's reading. That's reading
that
for
is
them.
Reading.
That is reading for them. Not for you. Not you listen to
I
a
learn
podcast.
Braille and then read a book.
You listen to a podcast.
Yeah,
you are podcasting. You are listening to a podcast.
Essentially.
Not a book.
A Lion King podcast. Or whatever book.
Okay, so if I transcribed a podcast and then read it off the pages, does that count as reading a podcast?
Yes.
If you read it,
yeah. So okay, look.
So I guess
Kyle, you're alone now. You're alone. I told you I watch a lot of Law and Order.
I really don't like this. I don't like where this is turned.
I told you.
I really don't like where this is turned.
Your brain is using
fascinating. This is going to be fascinating, and people listening right now are going to be going home, talking to their family, asking them what their opinion is. It's going to be great.
I told you.
See, because this has now been flipped on its head, where it's tough to say that listening is reading when I wouldn't say that reading is the same as listening. If that makes sense. To the podcast.
Me. I came in with this
argument.
You're new here. I grew here. Okay,
you're like Bane. I was born.
Yeah, I was born and not believing audiobooks was reading. You just arrived here.
I don't like this. Can we go to the next segment, please?
It's okay. All right. So now we're gonna tease the next segment ahead of time because you just had to.
I just had to stomp all over
the argument. I will, for those that were listening, I will reveal who it was. Michael Irvin went on First Take, he went on In the Herd with Colin Cowherd, and he said he would take Brock Purdy over Justin Herbert right now. And I posted on social media. It went crazy. Okay, a lot of people had some things to say about Michael Irvin that we will not say here on the air, but just to tease it a little bit before we get to the break, what are your initial thoughts about that statement?
I think that's kind of where this Brock Purdy conversation has gone wrong. I would say this whole pendulum swing from Brock Purdy massively underrated to Brock Purdy is now in the MVP conversation, which I agree with that part. But that statements like that, takes like that is kind of where we're gonna see the pendulum kind of swing back because that's just wrong for a lot of different reasons.
Obviously, the two sides are if Justin Herbert was on the Niners, they'd put up 6,000 yards and 80,000 points.
They would look completely different.
This is so tough. And, the thing about Brock is he's going to deal with this, right? And there's somebody else that I would compare Brock to that I am going to wait till after the break to get to. But my initial thoughts hearing that was that Michael Irvin was kind of tripping. But I could see why there to your point, there are better ways to say Brock deserves his flowers without
going that far.
Getting a little ridiculous here because Justin Herbert on the Niners would be crazy.
It would be nuts. It would be game crazy.
And there are a couple other players that you could put in that boat too. But
absolutely.
We'll get to that. We'll get to my comparison to a Bay Area athlete for Brock Purdy when we get back. All that and more. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. I had a neck pain too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain, and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So, cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs, but some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
The NorCal Sportsman Show is coming October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Get huge year-end deals on everything outdoor. Hunting, fishing, camping, golf, and more. Plus free interactive family activities, live music, the Big O Tires Custom Car Show, and a real catch and release pond from Fisherman's Warehouse. Don't miss this first ever event, sponsored by Roseville Auto Mall. Get your tickets now at NorCalSportsmanShow.com. That's NorCalSportsmanShow.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Keep it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points for the Kings, and new King Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. The Kings play again Sunday at the Golden One Center against the Warriors in their third preseason game. In the NFL, the Denver Broncos play Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City tonight. Denver has lost 15 straight games against Kansas City. Their last win came in September 2015 when Peyton Manning was their quarterback. Coverage of Thursday Night Football begins at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Time to let you know that the NorCal Sportsman's Show is this weekend, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Those are your headlines. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Now it's time for the final hour of Chris and Company with Stiles and Watkins here on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, where listening to an audiobook isn't reading. Thank you for joining.
According to some.
Thank you for joining. I promise that's the end of it.
Yeah.
As we talk Brock Purdy and what Mike Sando had to say and what he hasn't done yet or hasn't needed to do yet, and get into the other side of it and what he has done, and now the feeling of how good Brock Purdy is, and is it going too far now? Here's Michael Irvin on The Herd with Colin Cowherd saying who he would take Brock Purdy over.
Justin Herbert has done great. I love him. He's a physical freak and a talent, but I ain't taking him over Brock Purdy. It's the dispensing thereof. Now, we think somebody can run and somebody can jump. We say, wow, he's great. Brock Purdy just does, all he does is do the right thing and find the answers. And yet, it doesn't look like a Barry Sanders run or a Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers great throw, but it is perfection. It is perfection that you cannot stop. I don't think a team in the NFL can beat them right now. No.
Well, I agree with the last part.
Perfection.
I mean,
it doesn't get better.
This is tough. I don't like playing this game.
Yeah.
But it's a game that needs to be played when it comes to sports because it's fun. It is fun.
Yes.
It's fun to put Brock Purdy on the Chargers and say, would he be undefeated? It's fun to put, another quarterback and put Justin Herbert on the Niners and say he'd throw for 600 yards a game because we'll probably never know. Most likely we'll never know. You taking Brock Purdy over Justin Herbert?
I'm just not. I'm just not in any world for any team, for any coordinator. It doesn't matter. Even in this Niners offense, in this Shanahan system, I still think you would have to take Justin Herbert just because of, even if the numbers don't look as good, doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a better player for the system. He might be able to unlock a part of the offense that Brock Purdy just can't. I mean, with the arm that Herbert has, I can't imagine the down the field plays that Shanahan would draw up for him or any smart coach would draw up for him, which he hasn't really had. Herbert, that is, hasn't had the luxury of having for his career so far. I hear what Michael Irvin's saying. It's easy to say that when Brock's playing the best football of his career and they do look like world beaters, his whole team. And yeah, the Chargers have just been underwhelming the entire time that they've had Justin Herbert, but that has not been Justin Herbert's fault. I mean, if you look at Herbert's numbers through the first 3 years of his career, he's gotten record-breaking numbers in terms of passing yards for to start your career. And Brock's played great, but I just think the arm talent that Justin Herbert has is on a completely different level. And while he might not be the decision maker that Brock is, or, have the quick timing release that Brock does, you got to take the arm talent over him. And it's not just it's not just potential. It's what he already is. I think I think every single GM would take Justin Herbert 100 out of 100 times.
And this might sound insane, but I don't know, maybe just because of how well they're playing right now, but I don't know that Kyle Shanahan, if they said, hey, you could have Justin Herbert right now, and again, might sound insane, I think there's a part of Kyle Shanahan that would say I'm good with Brock.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's a different beast. He's a different beast.
And I think he's so much a part of seeing is believing, right? I don't want to deal with the imagine if you had this, because to be completely honest with you, and I'm going to go Voldemort here since we've been talking Harry Potter, that's what he did with Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Trey Lance was a lot of, can you imagine, right? He doesn't
I know
have
you
to,
like Harry Potter.
You don't have to imagine with Brock Purdy because you've seen it. And if somebody said, hey, you could have Justin Herbert right now and keep Brock, he might regret it.
Yeah, totally.
But I could see Kyle Shanahan saying, I'll keep him. Now, that's a specific situation to something that he wants to do with the team right now. I think that's another point, right? The team is loaded. You don't necessarily need
a playmaker,
Justin Herbert.
I shouldn't say a playmaker,
right? Or somebody
is a playmaker, but
sure.
You know what I mean.
So it's a tough one. It's tough based on how the Niners are playing right now. But is Justin Herbert a better QB than Brock Purdy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and to build on your Shanahan point, which I definitely agree with, I think that you're 100% right. I think Shanahan probably would say he would take Purdy. But how much of that do you think is Kyle Shanahan kind of with his offense is very much like like McVay was with Jared Goff. It is telling you in your ear, hey, look for Debo on this play. I don't think he does that so much with Brock as McVay did it with Goff, but it is very much, hey, just run the play that I tell you to, and I promise you someone will get open.
Yeah.
How much of that, of Shanahan picking Purdy over Herbert is the fact that Herbert probably will try and make some plays himself, or he might say, I know I'm supposed to just give it to Debo here on this little 10-yard crossing route, but I see Ayuk over the top.
Right.
And I think I can make that play where Shanahan 10 out of 10 times, and Purdy probably would as well, would say, no, just give it to Debo and let Debo get some yak, and we'll just keep this thing going instead of going for that home run ball. How much of it do you think is just Brock listens to Shanahan because of that skill gap? Brock doesn't have the Deion Waiters heat check moments because he knows he's very, very self-aware of who he is and what he's good at. And I frankly think that's one of Brock's best traits.
See, and now I'm going to go up against, and I don't want to misquote, but I believe Family Schlegel was the one who said, here comes Allen with the Brock hate. But I'm actually going to go in the other direction, and I'm going to not fully disagree with you, but just say that I think the reason Kyle Shanahan loves Brock so much is because he's in the middle of that. He's not heat check Johnny, gunslinger Gary, right? Trying to just be Superman and do it all himself. He's also not a robot. I think that Brock takes those calculated risks when you're looking at, if you do stocks and things like that. Okay, I'm going to take something that has, fairly high risk, but a very high reward, or that doesn't have enough reward to me. I'm not going to do it. Because if you look at the plays, and I think part of that is because of how elusive Brock is, he extends the plays, he's able to keep going, and then he finds open guys. So I do think that's why Kyle Shanahan loves him so much, because he isn't just a robot. He isn't just, he's going to do what he says, but he's grown that trust with Kyle Shanahan to where, hey, this looks better to me, I'm going to go for it. And the dude doesn't have any interception, so clearly he's doing it the right way. So I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's as much as he's doing everything, because sometimes things are going to break down.
Sure, right, exactly. And that's where his foot speed honestly comes into play. And you're right. Like, I do think that that's a really key thing to point out with Brock is he's not a robot, because I definitely, as I just did, I fall victim to that all the time of just kind of saying, he's a Shanahan, not product, but like he's doing what Shanahan's system says to do, and he's just really good at following the rules, essentially. He's not a robot. There is a bit of, I don't think chaos is the right word, but like controlled chaos or calculated risks is probably the better way of putting it, where we've seen a couple times he's thrown some turnover-worthy balls. I think of that Giants game. I cannot get the image of George Kittle essentially playing I think he literally did the DB strap celebration that people have been doing. I can't get that throw out of my head. So he does take those calculated risks, but he does do a really good job of managing those moments. And then, then you get performances like he had against the Cardinals where he's 20 of 21. And to me, that's the part where I don't know if you'll get any quarterback, Patrick Mahomes even included. I don't know if you'll get anybody who can really outperform what Brock is doing with this
Not
team.
right now.
Yeah.
Not right now. I mean, and that's why he's bringing
And that's not even saying talent. Like, again, that's a completely different conversation than is he a better quarterback than player X?
Right.
Then is he doing the best that you could possibly be doing in the situation he's been given?
Yeah. The thing about Brock is, if you look at the different comparisons, and I think baseball might be a good comparison as well, because you have guys that, we call them BP All-Stars, batting practice All-Stars, and they're hitting moonshots like Bryce Harper with me in Summer League. They're doing a lot of different things, but then when the lights come on, they got nothing, right? But the scout cares more about that guy than the tweener who's just hitting the ball up the middle.
Right.
Now, when you look at stats, and batting average is kind of less cared about at this point in time. But when you look at the stats, and that dude, the second guy, is hitting, 320, right, with a couple bombs, nothing to write home about, but just gets on base, does his job. And the first guy is batting, looking like Mookie Betts out there batting 140 with maybe 10 dingers.
Right. Kyle
Schwarber-esque. All those scouts typically go after that first guy because of the imagination, because of what could be, because of the ceiling. But there are a lot of guys that never reach their ceiling. You go to the YMCA right now.
Yeah.
There's a dude jumping out the gym who
Yeah.
did not, I mean, maybe he could touch the ceiling, but he didn't reach his ceiling. So I think that's the one thing, and that's why Brock lasted as long as he did. His ceiling might not be that high. But I'll tell you what, the dude doesn't miss throws. And when he does miss, it's not
a bad miss.
enough.
Yeah. It's not a Jimmy miss.
It's not a Jimmy miss.
Yeah.
He's not throwing hospital ball. Jimmy, I'm ducking. I'm ducking. I'm not even playing in the game. So there's a lot of things that Brock Purdy does.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I'm taking him over Justin Herbert with a blank slate. But on this team, when you're just fully loaded and seeing him operate it, Michael Irvin might not have said it correctly, but he may not have also been wrong in the right construct that he did not.
The spirit of what he said.
Right, the spirit of what he said versus what he actually said. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, there are some breaks that the Niners have had. Is that the reason they're undefeated? I don't think so, but we'll talk about them. All that and more when we get back. Chris and Alan, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and Sactownsports.com.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins. About 45 minutes left as we take you up to 2 p.m., followed by The Drive, guys. And I see Whitey in the studio right now. Hello, Whitey. I will see you, or we will see you and hear from you in about 30 minutes. But until then, I got a buddy. He it has a really, really big YouTube channel. His name is Larry Kruger. Does a lot of things. He's been around the block. And he had a tweet or an X, or a post, I guess they're called, that I guess we got to do it.
Got to go through the game.
That we want to go over here. And what he said was, I'm not saying this is the reason the 49ers are undefeated, but it's worth noting that they are enjoying some good fortune injury-wise. They played the Rams without Cooper Kupp. They played the Giants without Saquon Barkley. They played the Cardinals without Kyler Murray or Budda Baker. And they played the Cowboys without Trayvon Diggs. They'll now play the Browns without Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson, and they will then play the Vikings without Justin Jefferson. So those last two doesn't really matter because we want to talk about how the Niners have got here.
Right.
My initial thought when I read that was that it's true, but none of those things that I saw or none of those players that were missing, maybe the only one I'll give you, possibly the Giants game, because that was probably the Niners' worst game.
Yeah.
But besides that, again, the Niners are rolling.
They're just rolling.
We got to talk about something.
I mean, That's my first. Yeah, I mean, my first reaction would probably be to push back against it and say, I don't think that any of those guys really impacted the game really at all. I mean, Saquon, like you said, I mean, that was a closer game, and there was a moment in both that game and in the Cardinals game where it was a one-score game, and you can maybe say, okay, if they can get a stop here and then score on the other end, we got ourselves an actual game. But for the most part, I mean, the Niners have just been taking care of business. Maybe Cooper Kupp changes things for the Rams a little bit.
Oh, yeah, the Rams game too.
Maybe a little bit, but, even then, the Niners are doing a good job.
Yeah, I would say the Cooper Kupp thing, there's no way, and I don't think, that him and Puka both go off.
Yes, exactly.
Right, so maybe just give those
split
stats
them or something like that. Yeah,
exactly.
But again, the point still stands that I don't think it's making a big difference. And maybe the Trayvon Diggs thing, maybe it's more of a spiritual thing. The Cowboys are a little bit, they might not lose to the Cardinals in that week before, and maybe then they come into that game. I don't know. I don't believe
they're still getting. They might get smacked like that, but they're getting smacked.
Also, it's kind of unfair to do that to do, and I'm not saying Larry's wrong, but like it's a little unfair because that's how football goes. Like you very rarely, the Niners have been really fortunate so far this season to not have much of any injury woes, even though let's not forget Brandon Ayuk has missed some time, and Elijah Mitchell, though he's a backup, he's missed some time. Like they haven't been the perfect bill of health, but for the most part, I mean, I don't think that the Niners have gotten lucky at all. I don't feel like, there's a sliding doors moment here. It feels like this has all been legitimate, and I don't want to take away anything that they've done so far. And even in the future, them going against Deshaun Watson or not having to go against Deshaun Watson, maybe that still hasn't been confirmed, but it definitely seems like it's trending that way. And Justin Jefferson without the Vikings, like, that those guys give them a possibility of winning, but it's not changing, from the Browns being a 1-point favorite to now the Niners are favorite. Like, I think the Niners are going to be favored in all these games, and part of winning the Super Bowl, and we're still only going to be in week 6 here, but it's being healthy. Like it is. It's the team that's healthiest at the end of the year. A lot of the time will make it to the big dance, and it's just to me, it's just a positive that the Niners aren't a team that you can put on that list of, oh, they didn't have X for this game and that's why they look different. To me, it's just a positive. Yeah, I understand why, and maybe the Deshaun Watson thing, because that defense, I believe they give up 13 or 15 points. They're both 1 and 2. Yep.
The Niners and the Browns are in terms of points allowed. So I think it would be crazy to say that not having Deshaun Watson, who the Browns have paid a lot of money to,
way too much.
I don't know that he's playing like that, but he is their QB1, and he's not going to be out there. So that one, to me, we can't scoff at. The Justin Jefferson one, I mean, to be completely honest with you, I know the Niners secondary is probably one of their weaker areas, specifically the nickel, but I just trust in Kyle Shanahan and
that defensive line's
going
to get in Kirk's face all day.
Right.
I don't think Justin Jefferson's going to save the Vikings.
No, they might double team him or whatever it is, and I don't think that would have made as big of a difference. I think you brought up a good point with Cooper Kupp. I think that could have changed things, and I think that, obviously Saquon on the Giants, that could have made things a little bit stickier too, especially because it was back-to-back. But
and they could not pass the ball. That's for sure.
No.
The Giants were not getting anywhere with Daniel Jones passing. And so even just to have that as a counterbalance to feed Saquon, I mean, who knows if Saquon breaks one loose, which he's more than capable of doing, who knows how that game goes differently. But
the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, obviously that's a big deal. I also don't know how good Kyler Murray is.
Yeah.
Now that Kyler Murray is actually a really good example of flash in the pan, Jeremy Lin run. Yeah. We really don't know, right? He's had a couple good seasons to start the season. Yeah. Then he's kind of fell off. Yeah. Right.
He does have more career Pro Bowls than Matthew Stafford.
He does.
He has more career Pro Bowls than Matthew Stafford.
Miss me with Pro Bowls.
I mean,
Tyler Huntley's got a Pro Bowl.
What am I supposed to do with that?
No.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Nothing. I mean, because I think Kyler is still very, very much in a wait and see. We'll see how his career goes. Like, I don't think he's necessarily shown enough for me to believe that he's willing to, or that he's worth franchise quarterback investment. Now,
he already
exactly. He's already been paid as such, but when he plays, it's almost like it's not even like a Zion situation. Zion's MVP quality when he plays. Kyler's close to that, but not quite in that guaranteed MVP conversation. Kyler's been good to really good when he plays, as you say, earlier in the season. The problem is he's a really small guy, really small. Like they say Drew Brees is small. Kyler Murray's like maybe an inch or two shorter than Drew Brees and a couple pounds less also. And he runs. He picks up injuries throughout the year. And then also when it comes to quarterback, like leadership matters. And it does not feel like anyone wants to follow wherever Kyler's taking them.
No, he's a leadership on the Xbox though.
Exactly. I'm sure he's a great squad
PS5.
leader. If you need someone tagging enemies, I bet Kyler's all over that.
Yeah, and there's also been conversations about Kyler, and this might be the worst thing to come out if you are a football player, that he's scared to get hit. Later in the season, you see him run less, and you can't be 5'9" and stay in the pocket, homeboy. That's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
That is not what we're signing up for here. You got to run. I think what it is, hey, man, when you sign some of these guys, when you sign a Lamar, and Lamar's big boy, he's thick, he's 6'2", but when you sign some of these guys, even to a certain degree, Josh Allen, I've always felt like you feel like you have a certain window, and you just pray that you get it done within that window.
Yeah.
The Cardinals kind of remind me of the Angels a little bit, because I feel like they've tried and they've actually made some good moves, but it just hasn't worked out for them in a way.
Yeah, they brought in J.J. Watt. I mean, they try and bring in Marquise Hollywood Brown to be, he played with Kyler at Oklahoma.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. They say, hey, Kyler, we think we have something with you. We trust you. Well, we don't trust you that much. We want to make sure you're studying. Yeah. And then he goes out and he's got a lower leg injury as a running quarterback who, word on the street is, you don't like to get hit.
Right.
So I don't know what they're doing. And I'm telling Dobbs, I know it's illegal to tank, to literally tank. But I'm like, dude, you're going to have to miss some of these throws. And I think it's going to happen organically. But if I'm the Cardinals, I need Caleb Williams. We can't mess around. Yeah. And here's what's crazy. You sign these guys to these crazy deals. What is the market for Kyler Murray?
I have no idea. I don't think it's he's a quarterback, so it's something, but it's got to be like someone's got to really, really want him. Like how many teams out there?
Actual value, they're going to have to eat some of the contract.
They'd have to, just like what they did with Baker Mayfield.
Right. There's no way. I mean, because how many teams, especially in this upcoming draft, which is supposed to be really quarterback heavy, how many teams are going to opt to sign up for Kyler Murray instead of one of those young, promising, possible franchise quarterback guys when, you're not going to give up anything.
It's going to be a team that's stuck in purgatory.
Yeah.
And I got a team where they could go, but I'm going to save it.
Okay.
Till after the break.
Okay.
All that and more, Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins. We'll be right back.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA3 Weather Center, and mostly sunny skies expected this afternoon with temperatures warming into the upper 70s, about 78 degrees for downtown Sacramento. Cloud cover starts to increase through the night tonight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. What's happening for Ram Power Days?
The biggest sale of the year with up to $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew cabs. Or save up to $6,000 off MSRP and get thousands more with 0% financing for 72 months.
Pretty much all your Rams are on sale and 0% financing?
Hoblet is always looking out for you, which is why we have up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 2500 Crew cabs too. And with over 500 Rams available, we're sure to have your perfect truck at California's #1 Ram truck dealer.
These deals can't last long. See our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. 12,000 total net savings after 6,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 loyalty bonus cash for current owners of Stellantis brand vehicle and $1,000 case construction cash. Must have purchased eligible case equipment from qualifying dealer. Or take 0% financing for 72 months plus 6,000 dealer discounts. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Plus 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $1,389 per $1,000 borrowed. 8,000 total net savings after 3,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discounts. Rebates may include $1,000 case construction and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of eligible First Responder Association. 10 to each offer. See dealer for details.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings lost 109-101 last night against the Los Angeles Lakers in their second preseason game. Harrison Barnes scored 15 points, and new King Chris Duarte shot 100% from the field and made 2 3-pointers. The Kings play again on Sunday at home against the Golden State Warriors. In baseball, Game 4 between the Phillies and Braves gets started at 4 o'clock today. And in football, the Denver Broncos play Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs tonight. Denver has lost 15 straight games against Kansas City. Their last win came when Peyton Manning was their quarterback. Coverage of Thursday Night Football begins at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. It's time to let you know that the NorCal Sportsman Show is this weekend, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Those are your headlines. It's time for the final half hour here of Chris and Company with Stiles and Watkins.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
We are back 30 more minutes. Sactown Sports, last segment for the crosstalk with the Drive guys. Stiles and Watkins. It's been a fun one. I'm not going to talk about it. We've talked about it enough.
I think we should bring it up in the crosstalk.
We will bring it up in the crosstalk because I do want to shout out some people on the text line that wanted to, kind of give their input. So shout out to you for being a part of the conversation as well. But I do want to talk about the team that I think could be in play for Kyler Murray if, let's assume that the Cardinals keep messing around.
Yeah.
I would say that team, if you think about it, and again, we're doing this on paper thing, the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh, okay.
Desmond Ritter. I don't know anything about Kyler Murray, but I do think he's better than Desmond Ritter.
Yes.
So you got Bijan, you got Kyle Pitts, you got a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you say, hey, Atlanta, whatever pick that the Cardinals want to take. Hey, Atlanta, do you want to take Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Because Atlanta, I think Kyler Murray's going to end up on a team that's stuck in purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the team is bad enough, this is a pretty deep quarterback draft with Drake May and Shedeur Sanders now, obviously Caleb Williams, Michael Penix in Washington. So there are a lot of guys available. So I think that if you're really bad, you're going to take a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
If you need a quarterback, there's plenty to choose from. I think Atlanta, they might mess around and win their division and be in a Geno Smith situation a la Seattle where it's we can't win with Desmond Ritter. We're happy we made it to the playoffs. Maybe we can, like in a weak division like the NFC South, maybe we can make some noise. So look out for that.
I actually really like that. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, Atlanta's got, like you said, they got Bijan, they got Kyle Pitts, they've got Drake London.
Yeah.
They're begging for somebody to give those playmakers the ball. And Kyler's more than capable of doing that. And Kyler's also a playmaker himself. I think it fits into kind of their diversity of weapons that they have there. I really like that. I would throw a second NFC South team in there.
I know are you
Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's not where I was going.
I'm not a big Baker guy. Baker has been impressive for Baker standards so far this year, but I think when you have targets like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and you have, they still got some holdovers from their Super Bowl years on defense. They still got some talent over there. And you mentioned how open that division is. It just feels like you put Kyler Murray on an offense with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. It might look a little bit like that Jameis Winston 30 for 30 season, but I think you're going to have some really, really explosive plays. I mean, we saw what Tom Brady at 45 was able to do with those weapons. I could imagine Kyler Murray doing something pretty similar with those guys out there.
No, I could see that. I thought for a second you were going to go New Orleans Saints, but they just got Derek Carr.
But they should be they should be in the market for sure.
Man, Derek Carr has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
And I do like the mini rebrand of Derek Carr since going to New Orleans. It was weird how it ended with Vegas and the Raiders, and I wish them the best. But, yeah, they are probably going to be stuck in a similar situation where they're just good enough. And the Saints have been there for years, right?
Yeah.
Well, you talk conspiracy theories and the championship that they do have, there are conspiracy theories around that one.
Yes, there is. There very much so is.
So there might be the NFC South. I mean, and that's the thing. Before I bring it back to the Niners, what are your thoughts now, since we're talking NFC South, Bryce Young, and this whole again tinfoil conspiracy that
oh my gosh,
the coach didn't want him. Well, the Niners were
Yeah.
used to that because it was the same idea.
Yeah.
I don't know who wanted Trey Lance, but everybody.
I think everybody's
didn't
still
want,
pointing fingers.
Yeah, no,
at
you
whose
want, no,
idea.
no, you wanted him. It's like
except for
when
Kyle. Kyle's like, nope, not everyone
it's
knows
like
it
when
wasn't
you go
me.
out to see a movie or something, and the movie is trash.
Yeah, you're like,
no, you wanted to go
definitely
see it.
recommended this. Yeah, you sent the trailer in the group message.
You said you
okay?
wanted to go, so I went. So the Bryce Young thing for me, what I struggle with is he is essentially, I think, what a lot of people think Brock Purdy would be without the Niners offense, because Bryce Young, with all those weapons at Alabama, he looked like a world beater, right? I always thought it was weird. Look, I'm a competitor, and I'm a guy who I got to show you what I got because, when I play baseball on tape, I'm not a BP all-star. So I got to show you what I got.
Right.
But so for Bryce Young to be as small as he was, not do the combine, that was kind of an orange flag for me. I don't know about red, but it was just weird to me.
Yeah.
And the the Panthers still decided to take him, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then you take him, and the Panthers are a mess.
Yes.
They might have the first pick. Well, actually, they gave up their pick.
Yeah.
They don't even have it.
Yeah, the Bears have their pick.
The Bears have their pick.
Is that still 1 and 2? No, because the Bears won.
Right,
Sorry.
the Bears won.
It's like 1 and tied for 2.
Yeah. They still can make it happen. So I see that, and I'm like, man. And then I see reports that you can't even run a QB sneak because he's not big
he's
enough.
too small.
Really?
They bring in Andy Dalton.
Y'all don't have muscle milk?
No.
Y'all don't have
They got
creatine?
None of it.
These are big human beings. Like, I don't know how much creatine can fix 5'9".
You can't. Well, he's not. He's taller than Kyler. He's just thinner. His problem isn't really the height. His problem is weight.
Help. Yeah.
It doesn't help.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
no.
Patrick Mahomes messed up his knee doing the QB sneak. Like, it happens.
That you can't. We can't do that.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, especially not the number 1 pick in the draft.
How about this? Why don't the Panthers go ahead and trade for Trey Lance and bring him in for those
just
packages?
for those packages? Yeah, the resurgence of the Trey package.
The Trey package.
No, I mean, I'm out on the Bryce Young is going to prove to be a franchise quarterback. I think that ship is. I just had a problem with the process of it. Like, they were essentially taking Bryce Young, and the hope was, okay, this guy will be Drew Brees, without factoring in all of the other possible equations that it could be. And yeah, I think the talent at Alabama has shown that, made him look, and you cannot go more opposite than going from being quarterback of Alabama to having Adam Thielen as your number 1 receiver.
That's not going to fly.
35, 34, whatever he is. Adam
Yeah.
Thielen's long in the tooth at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is that's also not working in his favor. But then you look at CJ Stroud, who's on the Houston Texans, who are so deprived of talent. Like, he's making Nico Collins and Tank Dell look like they're all pro receivers. And, Anthony Richardson, even though he can't finish a football game, for God's sake, Anthony, but sorry, he's on like 3 of my fantasy teams. But even he has looked incredibly promising in some games. And you haven't had really a single moment where you've been like, Bryce Young, that's why he was the number 1 pick in the draft.
I saw a nice throw by him where he was moving to his left and slinged it
across
to
his body.
That was nice. But my question is, again, to your point, close your eyes and just imagine Bryce Young. What does he do really well? What does he do really well?
Timing. And that's Brock Purdy was picked last in the draft.
Right.
That's the thing where it's like, yeah, like
he's got a better PR package.
I don't mean to throw a stray at Davion Mitchell, but like that was my Davion Mitchell argument was like, hey, like it's fine to like the things that he brings to the team. Everybody wants a Patrick Beverly. Everyone wants a Gary Payton II, but those guys are taken undrafted. They're taken in the second round. They're taken later in the draft. And Bryce Young, you might like some of the intangibles of what he brings, but just stand him in a line next to CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. You would have to be so supremely good at playing the quarterback position, even just from an eye test, and not be like this 5'10" dude, this 6'4" dude, or this 6'5", Cam Newton looking guy like Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
He would have to just be so incredibly talented. I haven't seen it. I watched it in Alabama. It looked good. Again, he's really good at, maybe if you put him, maybe instead of, whatever, Justin Herbert, we should talk about how would Bryce Young look in this to me that's the only situation I could see Bryce Young really thriving in, is in a situation like Miami, where
top picks don't go to those situations.
No, and they don't. And that's really what this comes down to, is he's not in a situation where the talent around him is good enough for him to look successful. And unfortunately, you only get 2 to 3 years at the quarterback position to show that you're worth something. And then after that, it's on to the next.
Look, as we continue to talk about how the Niners are in such a good spot, even on the field, they're even winning off the field, because as Justin Fields tries to figure it out, and Mac Jones, he was drafted a little later, but tries to figure it out. And now you have a whole new crop of guys, and you don't know if Bryce Young is good.
Right.
The bottom line is, the Niners gave up picks for Trey Lance, but the draft is tough.
Yes.
It's a gamble.
Yes.
It's a gamble.
Completely
and sometimes you hit and sometimes you don't. And they missed.
Especially
and you know
a quarterback.
What? A lot of times you don't miss and then find your franchise guy the next year.
Yes.
So the Niners are winning in all facets of the game right now, because I would say, and we're up against it, maybe we'll get into it a little bit tomorrow as well, is the stain gone? Is the Trey Lance stain gone? Now, originally I thought that a Super Bowl would have to let go of the stain.
Mm-hmm.
But as I see Justin Fields struggle and I see Mac Jones struggle, it puts things back into perspective that most of the time, and I think Colin Cowherd did this on his show as well, that 70% of first-round quarterbacks, they're not guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're not dudes.
Yep.
They might hang around, but they're not. Look at not to get into the bust game because I know we're up against it. Look at Jameis Winston.
Yep.
I don't know what Jameis is. He a bust? I don't know. He just kind of is in limbo as a quarterback.
It could be a fluid thing. Like look at Jared Goff.
You can unbust.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah.
But again, Jared Goff.
I still don't know really.
I don't know.
I mean, Jared's trending towards good, but he's got a really good offensive
and these are
coordinator
#1 picks.
and a great offensive line.
And now you have Bryce Young and Kyler Murray.
Right.
Kyler Murray has shown the most promise and
Right.
shown flashes, but ultimately, I think the Niners come out of this smelling brand new, feeling brand new, say, we got our guy. We moved up. Not only did we move off a Trey, we sent them to Dallas so they can start a QB controversy down there. So they're winning right now, man.
Yep.
Still winning.
Still winning.
Still winning. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, it is time for Crosstalk with Whitey and Draper. That's right. The Drive guys will join the show. That's it for Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes, a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us, Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Mike Woods, PGA Director of Golf at Hagen Oaks Golf Complex, says pace of play registers as very important to most golfers, so he offers a few tips to help. When you're in a cart, drop your partner at his ball and drive to your ball. While your partner is hitting a shot, you can be getting ready for your shot, and your partner can meet you at the cart. Move to the next shot before putting your club back in the bag. That way, you're putting one back and taking a new one, all in the same motion and time frame. Now line up your putt while others are already putting, so you're ready when it's your turn. And you probably don't need to mark 2-foot putts, unless, of course, it's a tournament or a big money match. Save writing your scores until you reach the next tee. And it's not enough to be ahead of the group behind. Stay up with the group in front. It's a game. Have fun. And let everyone else have fun as well with a great pace of play. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports. A little bit of crosstalk time with the Drive guys. Whitey and Draper. And we're just going to get this out the way because I know Chris wants to talk about it. And Whitey, you probably heard a little bit of it as well. Listening to an audiobook. Did you read the book or not?
Well, if you take a bus to New York City, did you fly to New York City?
No.
No,
you did not.
No. You didn't read it.
No.
You listened to the book, right?
Yeah.
Why is this a discussion? Like who?
Because like the information's still the same.
This guy is.
I ended up falling back, but Kyle still feels confident about the argument. But it's just more of you retain all the same information.
Right.
Like you're getting
you
all.
didn't read it.
That's what I'm saying.
You didn't read it, but you listened to it.
Yeah.
It's all the same information.
You can say that you read it.
Yeah,
you
like
did.
You want to be a liar?
You read the book.
I don't think
it's picking nits. Like it's just like why
technically that wouldn't be accurate.
Yes,
that's the thing. Is like in terms of a discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, I read that book too. Well, you didn't read it, but you listened. But you still retain the information.
Yes.
I get what you're saying.
Right.
It's just semantics.
It's
like
like that's really what it ends up coming down to.
Oh, yeah, I listened to that book. Instead of I read that book, I listened to that book. Same thing.
I think deep
so
down,
if it's the same thing, then why does it matter which one you say?
I think deep down, if I said to you, "Hey, did you read all 7 Harry Potter books?" and you said you listened to them, I think you would really quickly say, "Oh yeah, I read them," but deep down in your soul, you would feel a little bit bad about it.
Yeah,
you would. You'd say,
probably.
I didn't read them, but he doesn't need to know that.
It's also like, the pace of it. Like you can listen, audiobooks are, 22 to 30 hours of content. And like, especially someone who doesn't read often like me, might take me like a month to get through like 600 pages.
Oh yeah. Look, I don't read. I should read more.
You guys are bragging about this. Listen to you guys are like, where I don't read.
I don't read.
No, I don't read more than you read.
Bro. No, I've never read before.
Exactly. I failed reading in first grade.
Yeah.
I still sound things out in my head.
Oh my god.
It's pretty simple. If you read the book, you read the book. If you didn't, you didn't.
Yeah, all I'm saying, listening to an audiobook is better than not reading.
Sure.
Right? But it is also not reading.
By definition, it's not.
Thank you. So everybody's on my side. I should have been a lawyer. That's all fine and good.
I would rather listen to a book than read it, to be honest.
Absolutely. 10 out of 10.
Because a lot of times you're in your car, you're driving, and to me, that's the best time to listen to anything, whether it's our show, music, whatever, and you absorb it a little bit more, I think. Reading, you'll be reading, maybe laying down in bed, might fall asleep, might doze off.
Sometimes, like, when I'm reading, I'm like, my mind goes somewhere else and my eyes are still moving. And I'm like, I have no idea what just happened on this page.
You can go back. That happens all the time when I'm reading. It's like, I got to go back. Where did I kind of lose my focus?
Yeah.
If you do that in your car, you're not going to rewind.
Just 10 seconds. Right.
Just
30
second rewind,
But I'm also not denying what you're saying. I'm just saying this. I just thought that it's not reading. I didn't say you wouldn't retain it better. Because I think you probably would.
The discussion isn't what's better or do you still get the same knowledge. It's just, are you reading if you don't read it? That's kind of silly.
If I hop in the car and
that's why I stopped arguing, was because if we're arguing about the specifics of, yes, obviously listening is not reading, but I would have an argument for retention of information.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm glad we settled it.
Let's bury this.
Yeah,
we'll never talk about it again.
That's right.
That's disagree, but you know.
Hey, it's okay.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree, but we're gonna move forward. So is it panic time? I'm calling it instead of Beantown, right? As Boston. Is it panic time in Beamtown?
Beamtown. Well, here's the thing, Ellen, as you know, Chris, as you know, Kyle, the Lakers get paid to play the game too.
Oh, don't start.
Get out of here.
Don't start with that.
They get paid too.
You gotta tip your hat.
You gotta tip your hat to those guys.
Right.
They played
They're
hard.
professionals
They
also.
put their bets on one leg at a time, just like us, you know?
Come on, man.
No reason to panic. And here's why. There was a lot of good to take away. Now, there was some bad as well.
Yeah.
Mostly being the defense.
Yes, sir.
But that was bad last year, and they still won 48 games.
Yeah.
And so no need to panic yet. Did we want to see an improved defense from this Sacramento Kings team? Yes. But the starters didn't play. You didn't have Keegan. The starters didn't play a whole lot of minutes. And so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I'm not, here we go again. No, the defense was bad last year. We still won 48 games. Long as the offense comes along, I'm more worried about the early 3-point shooting.
Been there,
the offense hasn't been clicking, and so defense, I'm not worried about.
Alan, I don't. I'm not reaching for the panic button, but I want to know where it is.
You're aware of where it is.
I need to know. I might need that.
Yeah.
I just better know where it is. Don't need it now, but whoa. D'Angelo Russell, if that was a real game, he would have scored 70 points on Kevin Huerter last night. Easy, right?
Yeah, he was cooking.
Yeah.
He was cooking.
They had to mop the floor. Why? Because D'Angelo Russell was drooling every time he saw Huerter was guarding.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know it's preseason, so it doesn't ultimately matter, but there were a couple things where you just thought, all right, I mean, it's not great. That's not great.
Yeah.
That's not great, but not panicking yet. It's not the real deal. I think the biggest thing for me was just some of the effort, because defensively, and I guess that becomes a question of scheme for defense versus effort. And if you're just telling me they're going to give more effort on defense when the regular season starts, okay, I got nothing to say.
Sunday would be better because guess who's calling the game?
Ooh, your boy,
let's get
on the play-by-play, yes, sir.
Let's get it.
And we got the Warriors in town too. So come on, Steph better play. Steph better play.
Oh, he's done.
He ain't ready for that smoke, huh? He's scared of that
He's saving
smoke.
it for the real deal. Save it for the real deal. Well, we know that the Drive guys are the real deal, and they're up next. Thank you for listening to Chris and Co. Stiles and Watkins. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables.